Testing
I'm
1, 2,
Eva,
3.
and
Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Completely new to the
Hey, Matt.
voice. What's up, buddy? How are you doing?
Oh, good. I was just listening to a song. You want to see the song I was listening to? It's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. What is it? What are you listening to?
I'll just get it on. This guy's a very good musician. I've listened to all those. Just give me.
Well, I wanted to speak with you on that. Actually, speak with you about that.
Yeah. So, did you ever play Mario Kart on the Nintendo 64?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, the theme song, that the background music.
Do you remember Mario Kart on the Nintendo 64? Did you ever play it? I used to play it to death. We used to play multiplayer and stuff when in my late teens and stuff. It's one of those really nostalgic and very popular games in the 90s.
Yeah, I got into it a little bit, but I wasn't a complete Mario Kart addict like some of the guys.
There was GoldenEye, there was Mario Kart and stuff like that. There was some insanely popular games, and that was Mario Kart was one of them. And that's the Rainbow Road, the special endgame level. That's like a dude on the guitar remixing it in a really good way.
I remember that game. I do remember.
Well, you used to do the shortcut. You could jump on the left near the start, and you could skip half the map.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember the detail of it, but yeah, I do remember it. Oh my God, I'm in the house, so
sorry, you're in the
hopefully
house.
My signal stays all right. I'm in my house. I'm in my home. I was going to talk to you a little bit, if that's okay, and pick your brain.
As I said, I'm free as much as possible. Did you have you looked into that triune stuff yet?
No, hang on a second. Let me shut the door.
Oh, whenever you're ready to.
Hang on a second.
All right.
No, but I am very, very eager to get into that because I study psychology. I study the brain. I study all kinds of theology, religion, and that stuff, dude. That is right up my alley as to how the human brain functions, from predator to non-predator brain functionality.
Yeah. See,
I do believe that's right.
You gave me a YouTube search, so I clicked on your YouTube search, and I had looked through those videos, and I picked two out of your own YouTube search. I picked two really good ones. There's a lot of arguments and different positions on psychology, and most of them are completely full of shit. But this triune brain stuff. Now, the original theory, there was some minor components about it that weren't wrong, but the vast majority of it is right. Has always been right. So it's just the timing of the evolution they've got off, but the argument behind it is all correct.
Okay.
So those two videos, they explain human behavior and what emotions and instinct and reason what these things are. And the trap that the weakness in human. This is why people with advertising, they can manipulate and brainwash people. This explains how this all works and why it works, and the weakness of mankind.
I'm sorry about if I'm making too much noise here.
That's fine.
I'm about to cook myself a hamburger and talk to you for a moment. You were talking about the human behavior, right? The human behavior. Let's go back for a second. I wanted to pick your brain real quick about your implants.
Yeah.
If that's okay.
Sure.
I was gonna say, dude, I have spent 13 hours watching your stuff.
Thank you for that.
Okay, at least give me some time to ask you some questions.
I did say that I would.
Okay. The one question, the main I was going to ask you about was, do you think on a psychological level that these implants, right? Because you've shown proof that they're yours, they're right.
Yeah.
I believe that they're yours. Do you think that those implants?
Let me interrupt you for a sec. The picture actually shows all the details with my name and the location of the scan at Longevity and everything. It's actually got those details in the image. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I seen that. Yep. Do you believe that those implants have any kind of a determining factor? Okay, about your physical consciousness awareness.
My personality and my moral compass. You mean my personality, my moral compass?
Exactly.
What some people might call spirit or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a very good question, and I was waiting. I've been waiting for you to actually come across this and ask this very question. So I was prepared for this.
Yeah. Okay.
So
all right, I'm ready. Go ahead.
It's not the only implant. Apparently, according to the government, I've got implants all over my body and shit. But in the brain scans, and if you want, I can actually upload, find and upload the entire CD, an image of the actual whole CD with the animation of my whole brain scan and everything if you want it. But there are actually 3 sections of implants in my brain. There's one on each side and there's one in the middle. So the location of these implants is critical because when it comes to things like reasoning, if your thoughts were being controlled, right, then you would have implants in those regions of your thoughts. So most of the human brain, the neocortex, is your reasoning centers of your brain. This stuff is this is where all your thinking and reasoning happens. And if anyone wants to control you directly with brainwashing and stuff, you would have to have implants in these regions. So the section matters. So the section that this implant in question is in, the other ones are on my ventricles, which aren't related to any reasoning centers. So the locations of all these implants are in the places that have no connection to brainwashing or anything whatsoever. So this one in question, it is, as I said, it's in my basal ganglia. Now, this is at the very center of your brain, right? And this is the gateway to memory. So this is in a location. This is in a location connected to memories, right? Now, memories. If you are born, this is how printing, and this is why these implants are in this location. So, as I said in my story, they said that they would assure that I would remember enough to remember my mission. I couldn't take everything with me. Like in New Game Plus, when you play a game in New Game Plus mode, some things you take with you, some things you can't, right? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. In the same way, most of everything I couldn't take with me.
Very few people, though, hang on. We're building to that, okay?
Yeah.
Very few people also, okay? Very few people realize and are aware of their own birth, okay? Yeah. Nor can they even remember their own past experience beyond the age of 5. You say it's 8. I say it's around 5.
Yeah, there's no specific number. Like there's different. Like back when I grew up, the number that was often given was 8. But depending on where you go, some say 5, some say 8, some even say as high as 10. There's no specific number. Right. And actually, when I says this, that no one really knows why. This is like there's not much understanding on this subject. So the whole point is that there's no specific age. It's just an age. I just gave the number 8 as a generalized number. So in middle childhood.
Mm-hmm. I hope to God that you can record this conversation somehow, bro.
No problem.
I really do.
So to continue answering your question. This implant in question is in my basal ganglia, which is the gateway to memory. It is in a location, a very precise location. So when it comes to brainwashing and things like that, it's not in that kind of location. However, it is in the very center of my brain, attached to my basal ganglia, the gateway to memory. And memories shape what you come out as. So memories, when you are born, you have no memories, but you have all these imprints, like genetic memories you might call them. These are imprinted evolutionary dispositions. The switches that I said, but switching on and off and stuff like that, there are default switches that are switched on from birth, and some switch on and off at different times in your life and all that kind of stuff. And these things are already pre-built, the pre-wiring in you, and then additional wiring gets coded into you as you experience through life. So if I was born in the normal human construct without some kind of other intervention, I would have been like, I like to say it's like a field. Like a human is like a plot of ground, right? With weeds and flowers all planted into it, depending on your ancestry. You might have inherited some really fucked up inheritance in terms of behavior, dispositions and stuff. Some are better than others. You know, everyone's got a mix of flowers and weeds. I inherited this shit myself. You know, I was born as a man like any other. I inherited the whole human nature. I understand it. I have it. But so
Right.
As I said in my story, they would make sure that I don't know how they did it, but they said they would make sure that I would be able to remember enough of my mission to do what needs to be done, to do what I need to be done. So if I didn't have at least some piece of what I was, the human nature of this body, Jeremy Martin's body that I inhabit, it would have been like a field that would have overgrown whatever me being implanted in that body would have got drowned out, and the human nature of the biological automaton of Jeremy Martin would have just been like any other person, and I would have faded into unconscious. So memories, it was guaranteed with this implant that memories, I didn't have access to everything at first. A whole bunch of memories happened early in childhood. They became switched on, and different memories switched on progressively during my childhood. This was something that I had no control over. So what I was getting access. Sorry?
Do you think that too, maybe possibly brought forth from out of the implant? Because obviously that they have been there, bro, from the very beginning.
Yes, it's in the center of my brain. So this was there from the very beginning. So as I said, when I came to this world, timing was important because there was a rush to it, right? There was a rush because their universe was ending, and there was a rush to get it in time for my universe too. So there's some kind of timing related to both universes, some kind of window of timing there. I had to be implanted at a certain right time of a fetal growth, right? So it must have been somewhere early on, and this must have happened early because this must have been done early in my brain growth, because you can't just insert an implant in the center of the brain. This has to happen when the brain starts growing. So this had to happen.
That's correct.
This had to happen at an early stage.
Right. Yes, that's where I was going with it. It had to have happened from the beginning, buddy.
Yes, it was there from the beginning. Yes, and I'm glad you said that in the live stream we did the other day. You got it. The only one who's actually got that. So this, I wasn't just. A lot of people will say, "I'm a possessed person. I'm possessed by some demonic force or godly force or whatever." That this is a case of possession. No, this was there from the very beginning. The fact that it's in the very center of my brain. And the thing is, if you implant, this is about memories, okay? So the fact of direct brainwashing, that's out of the question because of the position of these implants. However, indirect brainwashing, this is even more important. So if you can insert false memories into someone, you can control them. You can lead them you can change their moral compass by simply implanting fake memories, and you can construct a whole personality over time by inserting false memories into a person. So you can take any person, just take you as you are right now, and you just completely wipe your memory and just insert a whole life of new memories, right? A whole new person. You will still have habits from your old person trained into your brain. Your brain's a whole network of wiring, and it's all wired to have specific habits and stuff. So this new person will still have traces of that old person's habits. So if you just stay on that new personality for long enough, those old habits will fade into unconscious, and new habits will take root in matching with this new personality. So you can't just completely change someone in an instant like that, because you've got all this wiring, this pre-wiring. You have to somehow change all that wiring at the same time. So that wiring doesn't get changed. So you have to, even if you change a personality, you have to, you've got all this wiring, disposition and everything that's already still there. You can't change that so easily, even with implants.
No, you're right.
So, but memories, over time, it doesn't happen in an instant, but over time, false memories can control a person over time, especially if you have an implant that is sending false memories, and, manipulating a person unconsciously through memories, through false memories. That is something that is possible. So the fact that this is in the very center of my brain, this is like the very gateway to all this stuff. So this is something that does have the potential for abuse. Not that anyone's ever constructed a scenario where that was ever conceived of before, but it certainly is a possibility. It is a possibility that I am being given false memories through an implant that I was created this way, and
That's right.
I wasn't just given an implant somewhere along the way. This was from the very start. So, I was never changed. I started this way. So it is possible that I'm being brainwashed through the gateway to memory. So this isn't a conscious reasoning brainwashing. This is just through memories. Now, I propose to you that this implant and the other two as well are related to, while they are abusable, they were there to guarantee that I wouldn't fade into the unconscious of this biological automaton you call Jeremy Martin. That I would be able to have control. I wouldn't be able to fall into the unconscious of it. So, I need to explain this a bit better. I'm not explaining it very well. It might take a little bit of time.
But hang on, slow down, bro. Slow down. Believe me, I've got time to talk to you. I want you to also remember, okay? Remember for a second that what we know as soul seat consciousness, okay, or spiritual memories, right? Memories like that you're fond of, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? Like good memories and false memories. Right? You can remember a good memory. Obviously, think of cauliflower. Think of that day. That was a good memory. That was a great opportunity and experience for the spirit.
I don't just remember good memories. I remember good memories. I remember bad memories. But I don't get grudges, and I don't get corrupted by those memories. I use those memories for good. But I don't selectively choose only good memories or only bad memories.
I get it, but hang on. I'm saying all of that to say this.
Yeah.
Okay. In a traumatic experience. Okay, in a traumatic experience, the physical body, the mind in which we know is, okay, will literally block out those memories. And it will also make false memories. Do you realize what I'm telling you?
Yes, false memories do happen, but it's not under this kind of conditions. As I said about the triune brain, about how those videos I gave you explain what I've been saying in my movies and I've been talking about in the talks that we've had, is the earlier evolution of the brain have a tendency to take over your reasoning. They take hold and take over, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is tied to things like instinct. The very location of this implant is in the very center of the original instinct center of my brain. And
this would be primordial instinct. This would be the physiological instinct.
So this is not a conscious. If I am being manipulated through this implant, this is not a conscious manipulation. This is at the very root of, you could say, the very root of my soul. This is at the very foundation of a brain, in the gateway to memories. So when it comes to false memories, totally. The thing is, anyone's memories could be false. You ever heard of the last Thursday theory? The theory is that the universe was created last Thursday, and everyone's memories, everything was created last Thursday, and if it was, would you even know?
Right, because very few people can remember last
Because
Thursday.
no, you don't have any memory, because all your memories are constructed.
That is true.
False memories. Memories are never accurate at the best of times. Or you could say that all memories are false. So memories, whether they're true or false, they're not stored in perfect. It's like when you upload a video, you got file compression. You don't retain all the detail, and sometimes you can get artifacts in the video, as we talked about before. They're not a 100% accurate translation, and memories are often stored wrong, and they're even more so. They are often retrieved wrong. So they're copied wrong, and then they're...
See, it's good that you're sharing this with me, Jeremy, because I can show you documentation and certifications that I'm a clinical hypnotherapist.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand theology, and I understand the brain. I understand the way that the human mind works, both the right hemisphere, left hemisphere, frontal lobe. I understand all that.
I'll just say something about the left and right hemisphere. So people don't understand why we have our brains split into two. Well, our brains are split in two, and our life is split in two sexes. It is the same principle, actually. You can actually say that the brain is split in two, just like a male and female brain, as a single unit, focusing on different expertises. That's what the left and right brain do. You could technically say that
each half does its own thing.
You could technically say that your left and right brain are female and male.
Mm-hmm. As with the body's the same way. The body is divided into right positive, left negative.
I wouldn't say positive and negative. That's contextual.
Let's go with the system of the body. Okay, the body literally is broken down into positives and negatives. That's what you are. You are a walking energy. You are a walking power plant. That's what you are.
Yeah. Well, actually, I am genetically a walking power plant because if you look at my genome, as I talked about before, my genome actually, my people actually generate nutrients inside their body without eating. Look at vitamin E. Like, for example, my people are actually built for space travel. This is one of the reasons why they say that why people accuse us of being aliens. So every human on this world, they need sunlight. Even white people, they're just extremely efficient at it, but they still need sunlight. And black people living in modern civilization, they get rickets and shit like that because they need to be out in the sun to absorb vitamin D. My people and only my people, we're able to generate that shit. We can build it inside our bodies. We don't need any sunlight, so we can actually go out in space in a spaceship for their whole lives, living out in space with no sunlight, and we're fine. Everyone else will die.
Shit, you would come back incandescent. You'd come back see-through, bro. No, I understand what you're saying, buddy.
So if a black person especially was to go out into space, they're going to need all this shit. They're going to have artificial sunlight put on them. They're going to have some kind of supplements and shit just to compensate. That's going to be a problem. But with my people, that's not a problem. We generate that shit inside our bodies.
The body requires it, yes.
And what people don't understand, that even other white people, they need a lot less of it, but they still do need sunlight. But my people are something completely different altogether. We're actually built for space travel.
And that's one of the other reasons
define
why
my
people say that we're aliens. I say that we're not. But who knows? I can't say for sure that we're not. Maybe we are, but I don't think so. So, but
okay. I mean, I completely, I got you.
So we'll go back to the implant.
Yes, sir.
Because there's a lot to say. So, there's a lot of things I could say on the right, but it's just going to take me time to try and find a way to frame an explanation here. So
that's okay. You got time.
So this isn't something I haven't been like manipulated and mutilated in some kind of forceful implant. This is stuff that I was built with. That is in harmony with everything, with this whole body from the very start. It has been a part of this body.
It had to have been. We understand that it had to have been.
There's been no oppressive mind control thing going on with this because of that. So what it is, everyone has this is what the point I'm going to make. I finally remembered exactly what I was going to say. So evolutionarily, you have a built-in imprint of personality, behavior, all those evolutionary switches that I've talked about. Some of them are switched off at birth and they switched on, like the monkey and the snake thing I was talked about. Most of what a person is already pre-built in evolution, and then their experiences shape them, and then they move to a slight tangent in the direction of their experiences as an adaptation. So most of what you are is already pre-built into you. Not all, but most. And you get to decide to take that in a direction somewhere a little bit. Not far, but a little bit. Sometimes it goes wrong and you get psychopaths and shit like that. Something gets completely fucked up. But usually your experiences just skew you in a little bit in another direction. So everything you're built with, my implant does the same thing.
My implant basically gave an inbuilt thing to start off with, an inbuilt algorithm of code. Like you can say a whole thing is what you are is an algorithm, and I was born with the human algorithm, right? Just like my biological parents and family and stuff. I come up my family. That wasn't all bad, but obviously fucked up shit going on. Went on with my family. My family are technically the genetically superior, and yet look how fucked up we were. Even the best got fucked up like this. So I inherited my whole biology and evolutionary behavior dispositions of my people, of mankind. I've got all that, just like everyone else. But I am that plus more. And that implant is at least part of the insertion of other code I'm the human code plus something, whatever this extra code is on top of it, whatever it may be. This other code, I'm human plus something. My algorithm is human plus something. So this plus something is another human. That is in my story. Just a human like any other who from an unknown origin, whatever. See, even that human, 13,000 years ago, obviously had some kind of a different algorithm going. There was some kind of insertion of some additional algorithm there too, whatever it may be. It's a mystery. It's anonymous. So with my Jeremy Martin body forming in the same way, I was a normal human, plus extra code was added on top of that. And this code there's no battle between the human code and this code. They were just as a baby is born when a parent's DNA merges into one. There's no battle of DNA. They merge together as one thing. And I was created in the same way. I'm a merger of a mother and a father, their genetic material, and there was a third part in the construction from the very beginning. In my very maybe conception or growth in the womb when the brain grew, whatever state, I don't know exactly what point, but obviously somewhere around the very start, and there was no dominating, overruling, manipulating force. This was all a harmonic merger, if you get what I'm saying. There's no battle. I'll just say one more thing. Most people, if not all people, they always have inner turmoil, a struggle that goes on inside them of different directions fighting against each other. I have never had this. I understand it perfectly fine. I understand why it happens. I've had other kinds of struggles in different contexts. I perfectly understand, but I don't experience this stuff, just as I don't experience things like jealousy or greed or anything like that. But I perfectly understand them. I don't have this internal battle. So I don't have, one might argue that because I have this third source of my personality imprint in me, that there's some kind of contention going on, some kind of battle going on of possessing forces, where it's not. It's the total opposite. Is a harmonic merger. I've never had these personality battles, internal personality battles. I've never had these battles. I've always been in harmony with myself, always. Even through all the hell that I was put through. And I may have had these memories. There's only one more point. I may have had these memories at a young age, but I didn't understand them at a young age, especially at the very start. I put them into an unknown box. I didn't understand what they were. I come up with a few different ideas of what these memories could be, where they come from. For a long time, I didn't think these were even my memories. I thought that maybe I was remembering someone else's memories or something. I didn't know.
What triggered that thought? Let me ask you that. What do you think?
It's in my story. What triggered my memories to begin? What happened was it happened in my sleep when I was about 1 year old or something like that, maybe 2 or something like that. When I was a toddler sometime, I had a dream and I remembered something. This memory came out in this dream when I was a little baby, and then I woke up and other parts surrounding that memory started flooding back. It was triggered in my sleep by a memory, and later that day, that was when I was contacted by the extraterrestrial group through some kind of artificial intelligence or something. It wasn't. They weren't personally. It was like a program. And I interacted with those people who used to live on this world millions of years ago, the amphibian type of people, if you remember on my story. That happened on that very same day after all these memories triggered. I don't know if they caused it, or I don't know the cause, but this happened, and then this all happened shortly after the glyph in the ground. So I did this glyph, and I got a response, and that's what got someone's attention somehow, and when I was doing these glyphs, I already had an awareness of some kind of mission, but I didn't. It wasn't it was dormant. It wasn't activated. It was dormant. It was starting to come out to the surface. Like I've always, from my moments in the room, I've always been. There's been no personality change. I've always been me. From the very beginning. This is why I remember everything in the womb. This is why everyone forgets everything, because they go through a dramatic personality change in early childhood. They have their inbuilt. It's just like when you have your baby teeth and you have your adult teeth. You have your baby personality and you have your adult personality. I came as a grown man in a baby's body. I was already made. That's what the extra code was. I came into this world as an already grown man.
You know who you were.
Yeah, so I didn't go through the two personality changes that everyone else goes through. This is why people forget their early childhood, is because they have all these switches, all these behavior and personality switches that are evolutionary as a baby, and these are critically important, like sucking on teats and stuff like that. Adults don't have that. That gets switched off.
No, so Mike, Jeremy, slow down, because what I'm saying is, do you remember being birthed? Okay,
I remember waking up in the womb, everything.
Okay, so then if that's be the case, that is a consciousness, awareness of what and who you are as a personality. Okay,
yeah, well, this shows what I'm saying is that I came with this pre-built with code from a third source, as a grown man into a baby's body, and I didn't go through these personality changes that children go through. There's your baby mode, and then there's
I'm agreeing with what you're saying, but I'm reinforcing it, okay? I'm saying it's like as if you as a personality woke up in the womb and knew who you were as a being.
Yes, I knew who I was as a being, but I didn't have any of my memories of it. But I knew.
Correct, okay.
I was self-aware, even before the lightning bolt. I was self-aware. I just didn't have any reference point. I had no memories. I had nothing to interact with. I was like an observer with nothing to observe. I was pure consciousness with no experience.
But
it wasn't until I wasn't even aware that I even existed. But I was conscious. But I was consciousness without being aware of my own existence until I had something to relate to. The lightning bolt.
Okay, there you go. Right, the lightning bolt.
You understand what I'm saying?
If you can remember, I do. I totally get it. If you remember the lightning bolt, right, and you remember till this day being in mom's womb, right? You do, correct?
Yes.
You can remember as if it's like yesterday, right? You remember being there.
Yeah. Crystal clear.
This is a memory, right?
Yeah, memory.
Crystal clear. Where did this lightning bolt come from?
It felt like it come from the top of my head and went down through me. And went like downwards. That's what it's like. It's like if you got struck in the head by lightning. As I don't have the a definite explanation for where these lightning bolts happen. However, I have 3 major implants in my brain, and I do have 3 lightning bolts. So the first one happened, and then nothing, right? And then time went by, and then another one, and then a short time later, a third one. So the second and third one happened in close proximity to each other, but they were very distant in time from the first one. So the first one happened, more time went by, and then another 2 happened close together. And then more silence for a while, and then I started waking up the natural way. So I was self-aware before these lightning bolts. I have a memory of empty consciousness with nothing, with no experience, and the flow of all I had was the flow of time. That's all I had. I had nothing to interact with. And then the lightning bolts happened, and then I woke up the natural way. My senses, my hearing, and everything started coming in after that.
Okay.
Of the heartbeat.
Now, my question is, can you at this point, going back and waking up and knowing who you were as the baby, okay, in the womb.
Yeah.
Do you have and remember any sense of feeling? Can you remember feeling, meaning like my emotions? I'm alone. Remember you saying that I'm in my bubble?
Okay, emotions. Emotions there was no like real strong emotions. They were probably more unconscious and dormant. They would have been there, but they would have been unactivated, okay? They weren't activated yet. So all I had was basically, just listening with nothing to hear. And that's all I had. And when the bolt of lightnings hit, there was pain. Obviously, I could sense it was very discomforting. Everything associated with pain and suffering and discomfort for a very short period of time, and shock and fear, it all came all at the same time. So these things, they were switched off, but they were dormant. When I was hit by lightning, it all happened. Just as if you got struck by lightning today, all that sensations you have, it all suddenly come out of nowhere. Can you imagine someone who's got no memories and no experience of everything, and all this shit just bang like a bolt of lightning happens all at the same time? And then as quick as it come, it's off.
What I'm saying,
it goes again.
Do you have a fear? Can you remember like a fear?
No, I didn't. I had no understanding of this thing. There was a very short duration of an extremely unpleasant experience for a very short time, and then it goes again. And I wasn't capable of thought yet. All I had was I was just like a listening device. That's all I was. I couldn't even think.
That's
all
crazy.
All I had was the awareness of the flow of time. I didn't even have the ability to think yet. But I could experience all these emotions and sensations of pain and suffering and everything during that lightning strike. Yes, and then it stopped, and I wasn't able to think about it. All I had was the experience and the memory of it. I wasn't able to process it yet.
But yet you can tell me you can literally tell me that you knew who you were. You knew that you were an awareness. That's what I can't put together. I'm having a hard time trying to put together how you can understand.
I knew that I was aware, right? But I wasn't aware that I was aware. If that makes sense.
It does. It like too high on drugs.
So it wasn't until after it wasn't until after the 3 lightning strikes, and then a little more time went by, and then I slowly started hearing the heartbeat and the thoughts started fizzling out and everything. It wasn't until I was aware of these the ability to think started forming, and it was like playing with a game. You know, like there was a game that that's actually really symbolises this. I can't remember what it's called. I'll tell you later if I remember. But
all right,
as I started forming thoughts for a while, and I was getting better at it, it took quite some time to be able to relate those thoughts to connect things. It took time to be able to work all this shit out.
Give me an example, Jeremy.
If you've ever watched the movie Watchmen, when Dr. Manhattan loses his body and he slowly learns to appear again, that's actually, this is one of the reasons why I use Dr. Manhattan as a meme. What he went through in his rebirth is just like what I went through in my growth in the womb. I was self-aware.
Okay.
Just as he was self-aware, he had no physical form, but he was self-aware and he wasn't even aware of it. And he slowly learned to interact with the universe and construct a form. It's very similar to how things happen with me in the womb, with my thoughts slowly growing into something I can manipulate and move. It's like being in an ocean. It's like being an ocean, and the ocean, and you have no control over the ocean, and you slowly learn to move the waves and everything. That's what thoughts are like.
Now I have a question, all right? And this goes back to the lightning bolts and you becoming aware of the lightning. Do you have any sense of being messed with physically as you were growing in mom's womb?
None whatsoever.
In other words,
none whatsoever.
So you cannot remember maybe possibly at that point you were abducted I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out how these chips, okay? These obviously they are chips, okay?
Yeah.
They're chips, okay? How they got where they got and when they got there.
Yes.
Because when they got there was in the very beginning of the forming tree, the very beginning of the forming whatever.
It may have happened at my conception or shortly after. I will tell you something that I've never told in my movies yet, is when shortly after my conception, my father used to sometimes tell me about this a strange so-called supernatural event. What happened was shortly after my conception, between my conception and my birth, around the same time of these lightning strikes, if I'm estimating here, it's about the same time of these lightning strikes, is my father used to tell me multiple times about this before he died, about this story where they were having a picnic, and it was a sunny day like any other, just no wind, nothing, and they were having a picnic in this place, and this whirlwind came out of nowhere, and it lifted some people off the ground, and it came straight for my parents, and they were holding on to something to stop getting blown away, and then it just dissipated. And they thought they were going to die, and then it just dissipated as quickly as it came. This big whirlwind out of nowhere. And in a clear blue sunny day. And that seemed to happen around the same time as my lightning strikes. I don't know if that's connected, but that's a story that my dad used to tell me. And it happened around the same timeline.
See, you are aware, Jeremy. What gets me, again, being a hypnotherapist and being aware of what I've studied, it literally it fascinates me that you are so self-aware as well as universally aware, right? And also you have this connection with the planet and its people.
Yeah. So one thing I want to say is, if it doesn't slip my mind, so as you say, I've always been self-aware.
Your mind goes so fast, bro.
Look, I am so disabled in this human body. Obviously I have a really high IQ and everything, like, compared to everyone else, but I feel disabled and limited in this body. I feel like in many ways it's like a prison, but it's a prison I chose. I feel reduced. Like, this is like today, in today's standards, going on 33K dial-up internet, like, and then trying to send YouTube and trying to upload. It's like trying to upload videos to someone on, like, in 1995. Trying to upload a YouTube video to you in 1995. That's what it's like for me.
12K. Yeah, we'll pass on that, bro.
So I just have to do it in like 120 pixel mode. There's something I was going to say about conscious memories experiences. I can't remember what I was going to say. It'll come back to me. I was going to say an important point regarding that.
Let's touch a little bit about as you're coming out of the mom, right? As you're coming out of mom, and you're still self-aware, right? Even during the forming of the body, right? Do you
think? Look, as I said, I think I pretty much summed it up really well. How I wasn't even aware of my body at first, and then my arms and legs and stuff started coming.
Right. I
felt like I was being electrocuted. My leg would jolt all by itself and stuff like that. And then I became aware that I even had a leg, and I couldn't move it. And then it happened a couple of times. And then I started learning how to use it myself.
Cool. Now, do you question? My question is, let's bring back the chips for a second.
Yep.
Do you think that those chips, again, they had to have been there from the beginning? They had to have.
Yes.
Okay.
You're the only one who's figured that out. I'm so glad you worked that out. Because I've had to argue with a lot of people who go on about conspiracy theories about how I'm mind controlled by demons and aliens and shit like that. They don't get the fact that look at where this thing is. They don't put two and two together.
But what we're trying to explain here, because you are recording, right?
Yeah, you asked me to record.
You cannot you cannot stick a penny inside of an apple. You cannot do that until the apple is beginning to conform and forming its own self. Yeah. Until then, you cannot have an apple peel encapsulate a penny inside the apple unless it was there from the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay? So, I mean, it took me 13 hours of going through your stuff and literally sitting down, analyzing it, and trying to come up with how I'm going to attack you. Of course. The thing is do you have any discretion on how these chips to this day interact with your physical awareness and the world around you? Do you have any idea of how
I'll explain that right now. I actually did kind of explain that in different pieces, and I'll put those pieces together right now to make it clear. So as a person is like an algorithm of code, and you inherit this code from your ancestors, and then your life experiences add to that code, and they change how the algorithm works, just like DNA, right? And you have a personality code that you're built with. So I was built with a code that I inherited, just like you did from your parents. I did too, but I have a third source of code, so that I couldn't take all of me with me. So at least some of me was this additional code, and I came as a grown man in a child's body. Obviously, I didn't. I had to have some kind of implant in my gateway to memories in order to actually let me access some of my memories that happened just enough to remember enough to be able to do my mission, whatever I am. And these memories themselves, they steer personality. As I said before, if you'll go over the recording when I'll give you the recording of this. Memories can manipulate people, but they don't just completely take over a person. It's something, because you've already got pre-built shit. Just as I have my inherited mother and father biological algorithm of personality, I have the same, I inherited my biological personality just like everyone else. I have all the same shit as you. I just have extra code as well. So this extra code, and, this influences how the algorithm works. The code, the biological code that I was built with, just like everyone else, that hasn't been corrupted or changed. I have this in its entirety. I'm fully a man, but I'm a man with other stuff on as well. I'm a man plus. But that plus is not corrupting or overruling or modifying the original code. I have that original code in its entirety that I inherited from my parents. It had to be this way. If it didn't, I wouldn't have this supposed divine authority that I've been given.
So do you believe, my question on top of that, do you believe that this code is gives you the ability at mind consciousness level to be within the reality, the construct in which you're in the world, right? And be incorruptible per code?
This code, this extra code, this is the code that is deemed incorruptible. This is the thing, this code, this whatever this man plus code, this plus code, this other stuff, that is me, is so important and so incorruptible that in the Christian Bible, this is the one thing that even God Almighty in the Bible puts this above Himself. Even Jesus said anyone can offend God or Jesus, but if they offend me, God Almighty will not forgive them if they offend me. You can offend God Almighty, and He'll forgive you. But if you offend me, God Almighty won't forgive you. That's a pretty damn important statement to make. And this.
That's a pretty hefty thing to say there.
Yeah,
buddy.
look, I'm not the one saying this stuff. This is just what the Bible's saying.
No, I
understand. So the Bible's saying
that
God puts me in such importance that if you offend me, you're going to piss off God, and He'll never forgive you. That's a pretty good statement to make.
Jeremy Martin that I know after 13 hours and talking to you every day for the last week, or at least 4 days. The Jeremy Martin I know, okay, I do believe I can say for this Jeremy Martin, you honestly believe, and you as well as I do right now know that you've got a specific role in humanity.
Yeah.
And the thing is you know what that role is.
Yeah.
Right? But on top of that, my question we go deeper, because the chip in your head, is it not a chip? It's a chip, correct?
It's got symmetrical objects, symmetrical shapes to it. It has different components, and it's got one main section, and it's got two straight lines on it. I can send you a copy of it now if you haven't got a copy with you.
Jeremy,
it's got two prongs sticking out of it, just like a microchip in a straight line, penetrating the edge of the oval encasement in the shape, matching the shape of the encasement, and they are connecting to my basal ganglia. Like this is a microchip. It's got microchip prongs on it.
I've seen it. I understand. I've read your. I'm believing. I'm with you. All I'm trying to get.
So they look like a microchip to me.
Is this chip also, just because your genetics and your consciousness of who you are as a spiritual being, okay, is incorruptible, does not mean that this chip is not programmable.
Yes, for all I know. See, I can't explain much about this chip apart from the logic of working out what I do know and saying this could be the case or that could be the case. I don't have every answer to every question. However, that is true. For all I know, this chip could be programmable. Maybe it might have a Wi-Fi connection, and someone might be able to hack me. Who knows,
bro?
I have no idea. It's possible, and it should be considered.
That I know you now well enough to say you go on two things: logic and facts. Okay.
I don't abandon things like emotion and instinct and stuff like that. I don't abandon these things. They have a place.
But let's go back to the chip, bro. Let's go back to the chip.
Just one point I want to make. Sorry, there's one point I want to make. What I said before to you is love is not an emotion. It's a value. It is often misunderstood as an emotion. Love often is associated with certain emotions and sensations, not just one, but a series of them that make you feel good. This is evolutionary. This is part of an old original plan for life. And logic and evolution. There's a long story to be said on that. But love is not the emotion you feel when you love. That's not love. It's an effect of love. So when I say how in my story I even start says this is the story of a man driven by love. Love is the most supreme value to me.
but it is not an emotion, it's a value. And if you might not understand what I say there, it's something really worth looking into. I'm sure there's probably articles on this of love as an emotion or a value. There's a rabbit hole here.
On it, I promise you.
There's a rabbit hole there
I will.
So, yeah, I just wanted to say that. So
I promise you, I will dig on that. Don't derail me, okay, Mike?
So
because
I'm trying. Look, I've got broadband. I'm trying to give you shit through dial-up. I don't want to overload your internet.
But I'm asking you to overload me at this point because I've called you for a reason. Okay, if you have it, give it to me. I'm trying to explain. I'm trying to say, and because I understand that you work on two modes, facts and logic. You want facts and logic, logical facts. Fact is, you have a chip in your head, correct?
Yeah.
That is a fact.
Yep.
Number two.
I have
chip
three, and if you want me to later, after we do this, I can actually go and find the CD. I can image it, like put it into an image. It's about 750 megabytes because it's a CD. I can give you my whole brain scan if you want.
Cool. We'll put it in a video because we'll put it in a video and we'll get this talk out.
I've got videos of that I can get right now while we talk if you like.
But this specific conversation is dire. Okay, let's get it out there.
Yep.
A chip is programmable. Fact.
No, it may or may not
How
be
do we
programmable.
not?
You don't know that. I don't know that. It might be. It might not be.
Okay. So
it's
there we go. Wherein lies the question.
It's got some kind of Wi-Fi connection, and it could be remotely controlled. You know. How's this? How's this is a possibility?
But there's got to be some reason.
This is a possibility. Let's just say my body is a puppet, and that implant is the chip by which I control this body remotely. That's a possibility too.
I will not disagree with that because I believe in human consciousness.
Just try not to go crazy exploring. Because there's a lot of possibilities that can make people lose their mind. You probably won't know that already.
No, I'm there. Remember, okay? I'm telling you, I had this conversation with you for a reason. Because I believe in higher state. I believe in higher states of consciousness. Because again, I do hypnotherapy. I realize there's something underlying the physical cortex of the brain. There's something there that drives the human being.
Humans naturally have three states of consciousness. So they've got the instinct level, the emotional level, and the reasoning level. That's the triune brain stuff that I mentioned before.
But let's go back to the seat. Let's go back to the seat of the soul, where all of this originates. Okay, the neocortex, like we already depicted the brain. Blah 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 blah. The seat of the soul, as I know it, is the pineal gland in the middle of the head, right above the cerebellum. Is it right below the cerebellum? Yes. In between the left brain and the side of the brain. Long story short. Does any of these signals, any of these chips, point towards the middle of that pineal gland, which is, to me, and a lot of the other ones that spiritually and understand this, that is the seat of the soul. That's the pineal gland. That's your third eye.
An answer for you for that too.
Okay, please give it to me.
Okay, so there are three. According to the scans, I had CT scans done, and because of what was seen in the CT scans, there was interest in what they were seeing, and they sent me through MRIs and everything, right? And that's where I only got to see the MRIs, and I could actually see some really large, solid, clearly implant objects in my head. But they wouldn't let me have a copy of the MRIs. They only gave me a copy of the original CT scan. So whatever they saw after that, they wouldn't tell me, and I had a little conversation with them earlier, and they told me they're not allowed to talk about it. But, so they took interest, and more scans were done on my brain to see this shit in my head. And they're inside my brain, not counting the shit that the government says that I've got shit implants in my eye, they want to remove my eye. Let's put that aside. Let's just say my brain itself. Inside my brain itself, in the scans that were done in 2007, I think it was, there are three sections. Let's just say, instead of three implants, let's just say there's three sections of implants. Because this implant in question, it's not actually, it's got an encasement, but it's actually got components, like, with all different, like, microchip kind of shapes to it. So there's all components to this encasement of microchips and shit. It's like a, maybe you might call it a circuit board. So it's the encasement of microchips and shit. So that's one of them, and there's two others attached to my ventricles in either side of my head, further back. Now, in the MRI scans, It doesn't look. It looks very different than the CT scan. The CT scan can't pick them up very well, but you can show there's things there, but you can't pick it. It's too blurry. But in the MRI, it's really crystal clear. And what I saw in the MRI were like oval, oval triangular shapes with a pointed edge in the front, and they were both curved inward at exact symmetrical positions, pointing toward they were both pointed toward the center of my head, pointing at the central one in question. They were both pointing toward it. And you can see when I get around to giving you the whole sequence of scans of my head, you'll go through them in an animation, and I can give you a video to go through the animation, running through the animation itself if you like, and you'll see.
It's definitely interesting. Your awareness, your body awareness of who you are. It really, really intrigues me.
Yeah, it is. It's possible that whatever I might very well be remotely controlling this body through some kind of Wi-Fi type of signal through this implant at the very, very core of my brain. That's possible. I don't have all the answers
again,
to it.
I believe in higher self-consciousness.
But what I will say is whatever's going on in this body and the brain of this body, there has never been any kind of contentious battling or hierarchy going on between different forces within my mind. I have always been in harmony. My mind has always been in harmony. It doesn't mean that I don't understand chaos. It is because I am so harmonic and functional that I do understand chaos. For example, you don't need to be evil to understand evil. Actually, good understands evil more than evil. So in the same way,
right?
I understand the chaotic nature of other people's minds, but I've never been chaotic. I've always been in harmony within myself.
Wow.
I'm like someone who's I'm like an ocean that
subjective to the world around them.
Sorry?
I said subjective to the world around them. Because that's called influence. The world around them influences the perception and the identification of who you become growing up.
Well, what I will say is, just as I'm fully human, or you might call me a more distant human species, but with the DNA shit that went on. But I don't claim to be an alien or a hybrid or anything like that. I'm fully human, whichever definition of human you want to call it. I'm fully human from this world. I've done DNA tests to prove what I am and where I come from. But I'm fully human plus something else, and that something else is more than just a simple piece of code as a compilation with the fully human part. And there's a deep rabbit hole regarding that code and the depth of what that is and how far does this implant go? There's the deepest of all rabbit holes here to go, and I don't at least consciously have all the answers to that right now, right this moment. But there's a lot more than even I know I'm consciously aware of. Let's just say I'm consciously aware of enough to know that the reason why I must not be presently consciously aware of certain things. There must be, just as you have a network is not defined by connections, it's defined by a combination of connections and disconnections. So there's, if everything's connected to each other, it's not, it's like a painting with multiple colours compared to one painting that's one single sterile grey. That's when you have full connections, it's just a sterile grey. Just as a human mind is a combination of electrical signals that exist and don't exist in different places at different times. If you are to completely light up your whole brain, that's called a seizure. That shit kills you. That's unconscious. That's not conscious. If you want to continuously light up your brain and make 100% brain usage in one go, that's death. That's not consciousness. The opposite of conscious. Consciousness is like when you got pure darkness and pure light. Consciousness is a shade between.
I'm not saying that in the context of good and evil, that true good is between good and evil. No, I'm not saying that. In case you think that, what I'm saying is consciousness in when it comes to electrical signals and no electrical signals, consciousness is a combination of both, and the contrast.
Okay. let me share something with you. I believe May. Okay, you know how you say you don't think I can take it?
No. I'm not saying you can't take it. What I'm saying is I keep saying, and you've agreed with me, is I have so much information that I can offer. I'm like someone with like a terabyte of YouTube videos trying to share the world in 1995 on 33K dial-up. You know, it's going to take time.
Without a doubt. And we've got plenty of time. I mean, again, I'm talking to you. I come to you to talk to you and get this out because to me, this is a very intriguing, a very deep talk about Jeremy Martin's consciousness, where it originates, how you become aware of who you are, and be from the very beginning.
I am, but now I use the symbol of Dr. Manhattan for a reason. And if you watch the movie, you might understand why I use the symbol of Dr. Manhattan.
I will, because I've never seen it.
Let's just say Dr. Manhattan has many parallels with me, and I am like in many ways of the same position of Dr. Manhattan. Literally.
Well, you've reached a point in the conversation where I can literally ask you, okay, what is your understanding of the consciousness? Okay. No, this is you. Let's talk. You want to talk deep? I'd love to talk deep with you. So we're trying to understand the origination of Jeremy Martin's consciousness.
Okay. The best way I can explain this is, I'm like an outsider and an insider from different perspectives. As I said, in the war between good and evil, where both sides can see into the future and they know each other's moves in advance, how does anyone win a war? You're in a perpetual stalemate. A third party needs to come and resolve it. An independent third party.
And that third party stalemate, what, is without judgment?
No, that third party is the judgment.
It is the judgment, okay? So who's to say that good is good and bad is bad? Jeremy Martin?
Well, is that not one of the purposes of life? Now, when you say there's people say, why doesn't God intervene? If there was a God and that God intervened, it's like even Dr. Manhattan said this himself. I can change almost anything, but I can't change human nature. If he was to change human nature, it would no longer be human nature; it would be his own nature, and mankind would mankind would just be a mere puppet of his own will. If I had the power to control you and change you, if you were a bad person and I wanted to make you into a good person, I just completely with a hand signal just overrode your mind and just changed you. You would no longer be you. You would be me.
That's right. You're
just a puppet of me. You don't exist anymore. You're dead. You're completely gone. Whatever is being recreated is not you. It's me. It's in the entirety of me. When you're like a gardener and you grow the crop, you water the crop and you take care of it. But at the end of the day, the crop does what it wills independently of you. The gardener can't control the crop.
Maybe I can.
What I'm saying is one of the purposes of life is to be independent of its creator. It has to be independent of its creator, because if it isn't, then its creator is simply overriding it, and the whole purpose of its existence, it no longer exists. As soon as it interacts with its creator, it no longer exists. It's simply a puppet of its creator. So life must evolve in its own way and choose its own form and come to its own conclusions. And those conclusions contribute to an algorithm later on. For example, I said before, I said some questions about, let's just say, some ultimate questions beyond even mankind that a certain someone is trying to ask and find answers to. I'd rather not say those questions and answers here, but you know what I'm talking about.
I do.
The ultimate questions and answers.
But keeping the conversation on consciousness and what you went through, okay, to who you are now.
Yeah.
Please, let's stay on focus here for a second.
Yeah, I'm not sure
where does consciousness, as far as Jeremy Martin Jeremy Martin is? Do you understand that?
Would you remember what I said? How there's quite literally two copies of me at least two copies of me in this universe, in this galaxy, and possibly on this world. Presently, 2 copies of me.
Okay, yep, I'm aware of what you're saying. I remember saying
yes,
that.
now anyone watching this will have no idea what... They'd have to actually go through my story and really use their head after watching the end of my story to realize what I'm saying here. Because I came
we'll tag it.
There was a copy here that did exactly what I did, and I went back to intervene in another attempt at it. Like, I'm in New Game Plus here. So, there are 2 copies of me here. So, like, if there's 2 copies of me in, just to say, one galaxy, doing as this intervening force, and there are 100 trillion galaxies in the known universe, you know, on a ratio, you might say, as an estimation, then there's 100 trillion copies of me in the known universe. Let's just say the known universe is like 1 grain of sand compared to every beach in the entire world for the whole scale of the universe, right? And then just say that there's more, or just say as many universes as there are galaxies in the entire universe. Imagine how many copies of me, and now if copies of me have actually gone across more than one universe, then imagine how many copies of me are moving around in all different universes from one to the other, doing a secret plan. As a gardener, cultivating life.
Touches, what you're talking about touches on exactly where I'm going. Are you ready for this?
Yes, so what I say, in answer to that, what am I, and the scale of what I am, I have a cryptic answer. The best way I can explain this isn't a cryptic answer. I am like a tree passing through a length of string. That's the best way I can answer it.
I just say, and I heard the echo. Jeremy Martin, let me ask you this. Can you perceive outside of your own self? Yes or no?
Yes, there's a lot of things I can say about that. Like, as I said, I get glitches. I don't have any control of this, but it's going to sound strange, but I keep kicking back like a few seconds or maybe a few minutes in time. I keep repeating things every now and then. I don't have any control over it. And sometimes it scares people because I answer questions before they ask them because they just told me and they don't know it. These things happen to me all the time. I don't have any conscious control over it. And other things happen too. There's other things as well. I was actually able to, during my teenage and 20s, I was actually able to. I learned how to actually send myself messages backward in time.
In the future.
No, I was actually worked out. I had a method of sending messages in like a cryptic kind of glyph format. I'm going to find a picture. This is not going to make much sense, but just give me a sec. I'm going to look for it.
Well, I was going to have you try to remember, right? Walking the other, you and I think it was Tuesday. Today is Friday, right? Friday morning, Friday evening. I wanted to talk to you and have you tell me your understanding of the perception that you see, and you can picture in your mind's eye of you walking to the store the other day. While I said, Jeremy, I'll get a hold of you. I'll talk to you in a bit. I'm like, you went. You said, okay, that's fine. I'll go grab a cup of coffee. You remember? Do you remember that? You said, I'll go to the local shop and go grab a cup of coffee. Do you remember that?
Yep.
Okay. Do you remember walking? You literally did. You walked to the store and grabbed a cup of coffee, right?
Yep. Someone said hello to me on the way. Some random person said hello to me on the way.
Okay, good. Who? I want you to remember that. Replay that in your mind. You got it? Can you replay it?
Yeah.
Okay, where and whose perception are you seeing this conversation take place with you and this person that said hello? Through your own eyes or from a different perception?
Let's just say by doing this, I'm not accessing myself. I'm accessing like a database. Just as there's you and there's your computer. When you go and watch a video of something that happened, if you go put a video of something that you recorded on your computer, right? If your computer isn't you, it's just a storage device of things you did, right? So when you're accessing those memories, you're not accessing some kind of life form or consciousness. You're just accessing data on a storage device, right? My brain, just as yours, is one of many things. It's a storage device. That storage device and the data on that storage device, those memories, they are not life itself. They're just a record of it for it to serve an evolutionary purpose. they're not life itself. So I see accessing memories. When I access memories, I see it no differently as in if I access video on my computer, or if I had cybernetic implants with access to different information, like a database of information, and I had a cybernetic implant, right, of a memory chip in my head. If I had so that memory chip is not life. It's not alive, and it's not me. It's not consciousness. It's information that I use and can manipulate. It's just access to a resource. It's a lifeless data resource. That's how I see memories.
But Taryn, where and what I'm asking you to do is I'm wanting to try to get you to shift your own perception and your own memory from what you experience through your own eyes and what you experience through your physical world into a different perspective. Are you able to do that?
I see things from many, many, many perspectives, but I'm not sure exactly what you're trying to get at.
Whose point of view are you seeing that at? Because if it's not your own memory,
I see from many points of view. I see things as though I'm a million faces from all different angles. For example, I'll give you an example. If you take a cube, like a big giant cube, right? You're in an open field, and there's this big giant cube in the center of it. So you're in one position, right? And you look at this cube, and from a certain position, it looks like a square. Someone else could go up and stand up on the hill over there, and from a different angle, and it will look like a diamond. And another position, it will look like a star. And sometimes people see things from different perspectives, and their vision is wrong, and they're seeing things that aren't there. It's mixed in with ideas in their head, and they're not seeing. Just to say, on this situation, there's no skewing of sight. They're seeing what's really there. So they're all seeing something that's real. They seem to contradict each other. There are sometimes that when people see things, they are contradicting each other. But when it comes to seeing something that's real, this cube, then they're seeing something that seems to contradict each other, but neither three sides understand what they're seeing, because they're only seeing from a specific perspective. Only by seeing it from each of these three perspectives, and continue, not just that, but you continuously look at it from different perspectives. The more you look at it from different perspectives, you will eventually come to see its true shape and form of a cube. And you eventually learn you learn to see something in a dimension that you never saw that was there before. So I see things from many perspectives at all times. I see things like I am 1,000 eyes from different perspectives. I don't see anything from sorry, I don't want to interrupt. I don't mean to interrupt, but I don't see things from one perspective ever. I see things from as many perspectives as I can get my hands on, and my conclusions come from a compilation of all those perspectives measured against each other. I'll give you one more example of this. It's like when you have a tree and you have leaves on a tree. Well, let's just say each perspective is like a leaf on the tree. Well, one perspective is high up in the top of the tree. It's really close to the light and the sun. Another leaf is a low-hanging leaf, and it's really in the dark. And with the compilation of all these different leaves from different perspectives all over the place, they work like a human eye. They combine the different measure of light, and the tree learns to discover the location of the sun. Only by seeing things from so many perspectives can you truly see the location of the sun. Do you get what I mean?
Mm-hmm. See, you're touching on something I call the God consciousness.
See, when your very eye, you don't have a single eye. You have millions of eyes. You actually have millions of tiny eyes in the back of your eye, that are sensitive to red, blue, and green.
Go deeper than that. Your
eye is just a machine that combines all those different eyes. There's millions of eyes inside your eye, the back of your eyeball. Your eye and how it connects to your brain processes and that. It's just a mechanism of just like leaves on a tree. You're seeing. With your physical eyes, you are literally seeing from the perspective of millions of different eyes in your very eyes.
Now go deeper than that, Taryn. Go deeper than that, Taryn.
In what way?
What are you?
The best word is to say anonymous. Well, let's just say who and what I am. I've got an answer to that.
So it's been
my
answer to your question is what am I? Who and what I am. Who and what I am that will only be truly understood at the not at the end, but near the end of mankind's journey.
But see, what you're doing and what we're trying to do is define man's journey. Because what we're talking about now is the fundamental.
I'm a man plus something.
No, that's I'm in agreement. You're a very smart individual, bro. I mean, I'm that's why I'm loving this deep conversation, because I very rarely get to have it with very many people. But what I'm saying, let's go deeper than what your theology, your understanding of the eye and the thousands of little, eyes beyond the lens of the eyeball. Beyond that, okay, you can go deeper into the microbial world and what we really are. That's why I look at things completely different, bro. I'm coming at you at a completely different level. I want you to see that I see that we are neutrons, electrons, protons, and all of that congeal together to make that theological atom as we know it.
Well, do you know neutrons are made of electrons? They're part of a neutron is actually an electron. A neutron is actually a proton. I think it's a proton mixed. When a proton meets an electron, I think it creates a neutron. Unless I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure that's the case.
You're correct. You're right. You're right. Thought I'd say that. And it's okay. And you got to remember, the rest of that nucleus is 80% empty.
No, more than 80%
empty. Well, you follow what I'm saying. I'm just throwing out a number.
Yeah, I get the
people
don't
understand.
Yeah. I get the point you're making. Most of the universe is just emptiness. I'll give you a different way of looking at what you're saying.
Taryn, say it again, Taryn. Most of the universe is what?
Empty.
Empty space.
I'll say a couple of things on that. I can't remember the first thing I was going to say. So I'll just say the second thing I was going to say then. Well, I'll try and remember the first. The second thing is, let's say what the word God. The word God actually comes from the Greek tetragrammaton. Okay, it's there was no of the original word. It's translated into YHWH without it doesn't have any vowels, and that's why it's supposedly the name that cannot be spoken, just simply because it has no vowels. But the Greeks actually personified this thing, because that's what they did. They created gods for everything. So they called it the tetragrammaton from whatever it was before that. And tetra means four. Gramma means gram. Ton means large empty space or palette. Now, religious institutions have lied and said, instead of tetragrammaton, they said it's tetragrammaton. And they made up this word grammaton, and there is no such word as grammaton. They're lying. They made this word up. What they say is grammaton sounds like grammar, therefore four grammar, four letters, YHWH, the name of God. That's just nonsense. It's tetragrammaton. So tetragrammaton is a the compound word of three words. It actually means tetra, four, gramma, a small measure of weight, ton, a large empty space. What it means is the four small measures of weight within the empty space. It is the four fundamental forces of gravity in the universe. It may or may not be a person, but it is not. It is anonymous whether it is or not as a person. It's not even said either way. But whatever it is the four fundamental forces of gravity in the universe. That's what tetragrammaton means, and that's what the word God used to mean, that the Greeks reinvented and personified. Now,
consisting of four letters.
So
I'm reading the abbreviation.
The empty space Wikipedia is required for these are waves of gravity in empty space. It needs a lot of space. Space is spacious for a reason. It's intended to be this way for a networking purpose. I've given you some images before. I can give you some more stuff on this. This is a long rabbit hole. I can't say to you in like a few minutes. It's a very deep, long rabbit hole. But I can give you some images. I'll give you one image. I'll give you one image just to give you an introduction to what I'm saying.
So, are you enjoying this deep conversation? I'm just asking because I very rarely get an opportunity to talk on a level this deep.
So, I'm dealing with dial-up here, so I'm trying to literally dial up. Where's one more thing I wanted to do? Where was there?
See, the fundamental understanding of what we know as the God, the Creator, the existence of all things, right? You're touching on the fundamental principles of what the human being literally is. Okay,
here's the one I'm looking for.
And we are.
Keep going.
We are not a physical creation, bro. We are an autonomous biological, physical construction somehow, some way, connected to a non-physical driver, possibly. I call it the higher self.
I have a little bit of a different perspective on that. Let's just say we are chaos naturally forming into order in its own way under conditions that allow that to happen. That's what the universe is, like a factory that helps assist chaos into forming into order and into shaping its own form. Understand that the human form, there was no creator that chose our form. We chose this over countless evolutions, countless generations of evolution. This was our choice. This was our ancestors' choice and the heritage that we carry. So you might say that a human being is a form of life. Well, let's just say, is one of your cells alive? Is it a self-conscious life? Or is the body alive? Well, in the same way, the heritage, the evolutionary heritage you carry, is that the life? Or is the cell, the human, the part of the gene pool, the cell of the gene pool, is that the life? Defining what the word life means and what its body is. What its compilation is.
I don't know.
So
let me ask you.
I see more importantly than a human life, its evolutionary heritage and its gene pool is a higher form of value of life and importance, more important than its parts, than its cells. Just as a cell is sacrificial for the body, a human being is sacrificial for its heritage, because it is its heritage. It's built on it. All the programming in its personality, in a human being's personality, is constructed from that evolutionary heritage. The programming is evolved over time, and each generation, this is not chosen by some almighty God. Your ancestors chose this. And now it's your turn. You get to choose your link in the chain, which direction things go. And then your children will make a decision, and their children will make a decision, and the process goes on until the construction is complete. This is life constructing itself under its own terms, independently of its creator.
Is this what is known throughout the spiritual world and the esoteric teaching as what's known as the hero's journey?
The word spiritual, really, it's so vague, it has no valid definition.
Okay. All right. Let's just keep it conclusive. Is this what is defined as the hero's journey?
That's
in the metaphysical.
I'm pretty sure you're talking about some occultist kind of thing, but I actually have used that term. I haven't used that term for a long time, but I have used that specific term for very important reasons in the past, and I think it's tied to the same thing that you're talking about. Maybe not directly, but as on that point, I'll give you two memes here right now. The hero's journey. Look at this image. This explains exactly what you're talking about. These are all my own graphics.
Really,
you see three images here: parasite, symbiosis, altruism. As I say, is life's evolution has an inevitable direction. Now things can go wrong and backwards and get corrupted. But even that actually serves a purpose in the long scheme of things. Life naturally, under normal conditions, goes from parasite to symbiont to altruist.
We're going to have to share these images.
This is the discovery of values and moral principles and stuff is the inevitable result of life. Just as death is you're going to die someday. You're going to be born, you're going to die, you're going to have children, they're going to continue the heritage. There are things that are inevitable, and what's inevitable is the conclusion of life. As long as something else doesn't destroy it from the outside, life has an inevitable conclusion. So going from life starts out as a benign parasite. It learns to interact with other life, and it learns the values of symbiosis. A parasite just takes whatever it wants, doesn't give a shit, doesn't care, it has no understanding of anything, just take. A symbiont learns that there are others, and if you take, you can actually form a relationship with them, and you can form agreements and for mutual gain and stuff like that, right? Symbiosis is a learning
process, right?
Process towards altruism. Okay, so symbiosis is the training lessons of life, and when you reach the end, you end up as an altruist.
You start out as a taker and you end up as a giver.
So you're telling me that life itself is a symbiosis of all experience, gaining experience to no longer be a taker?
Life starts out as a parasite. It goes through a long process of symbiosis and eventually reaches its conclusion as an altruist if it makes it to the end. Look, 90-something% of life of evolutions in this world have gone extinct. But it has a huge failure rate. Life has a huge failure rate. However, when it's allowed to continue, despite that failure rate, some still survives. You just keep doing it and keep doing it, like watering a persistently dying crop. You keep taking care of it. Eventually, one day, it's going to sprout. It's going to sprout something good. Now, this is the same thing as my story. Now, in my story, I mentioned cauliflower and the impact she had on me. Like the spark of goodness that I've been trying to cultivate on the grand scale for beyond space and time. In my that spark happened in her.
I'm with you.
I finally got. It's like trying to light on fire dry wet wood, and it just persistently won't grow. And then an example of it happened to prove that all my work for beyond space and time that was living proof that it could happen. And in the end, that was the only thing that saved me in the end. All the programming I came with, I was born of the genetically superior race. I had all this extra programming in me. That is obviously something incorruptible. So I'm incorruptible. I come from a genetically pure race. All these factors together, and I experienced the worst conditions. Man, all these experiences, all these things put together weren't enough. You know what was the one thing that saved me? Was the beautiful heart of a little girl. The innocence and purity of heart of a little girl was what made it all worth it, and it saved me to be able to finish my mission. And it proved that my mission wasn't futile. Of what I'm trying to build with life.
Because it manifested that stage of the game, I completely get it.
It manifested at least once, and I got to see it right in front of my face. To show me that it was all worth it.
Bro, I've got to talk to you more.
I'm trying to cultivate this altruism out of life.
Oh man.
I don't claim to be your creator. I come from the position of an independent outside force, intervening force to make sure, like a gardener. Like I didn't necessarily plant the crop. I'm just a gardener who takes care of the crop.
Trying to teach other seeds to grow into other seeds that will do the same and follow. Is that what you're saying?
I don't claim to have planted the crop. I don't claim to have made the crop. I'm not trying to dictate and try and control and manipulate the crop and control what it grows into.
I'm trying to cultivate the crop so that it can grow in its own way, on its own terms, and reach its destination on its own terms. I'm not trying to lead the way. I'm trying to be a guiding light to show where these paths lead, and to just be a guiding light to show, this direction over here. If you continue, just look a little further. Look, it goes off a cliff. Are you sure you want to go down that road? And so you don't do things in ignorance. So that you know the longer term consequences of your decisions. But if you choose to go off a cliff, I won't stop you. This is mankind's choice, individually and collectively, to make its own choices. I'm not going to make choices for people. I can open and close doors, but I'm not going to push anyone through them.
You're going to be met with resistance on that because you're trying to help. I'm serious, and I know you know that. You're going to.
You know what resistance I've faced, man.
Oh man. It's like you're trying to give them the idea to be a better person and planting that seed. It's already in there. They've already got the instinct to be that.
Yeah, well, this was evolved.
But it's like, right? I completely agree with you.
This is built into the human genome code, the personality code of the human genome. It's already been evolved over a long period of time.
I got a question. Do you think that that's why that those in power behind the dark scene is trying so hard to manipulate the genetic makeup of the human being? Is to dumb them down and make things okay, bro.
Okay, maybe I'll expand on what I said before. I actually went through a lot of these discussions on this before with you, if you were paying attention in my recordings and stuff. So there's a whole bunch of topics related to this that it might take a bit too long to explain. So what I'll do explain is... there are those within positions of... There are evil forces in this world in positions of a lot of power. Their power is crumbling right now. It's all falling apart. But there are people historically and still somewhat presently in positions, evil forces in positions of a lot of power, and they have an agenda, and they have greed and jealousy and hatred of certain things, and they want to fuck up the whole human genome, and especially the white race. They have reasons imminently to try and destroy the white race, but ultimately they want to fuck up all of mankind. They hate mankind's whole genome and its whole. What they hate ultimately is mankind's destination if it survives there. They're trying to stop. There are forces at play that behind all this. The very forces at the end of the curtain, behind the curtain, ultimately are trying to stop mankind from something that happens in the distant future. And this is out of jealousy and envy. Should
Aaron,
mankind reach its destination?
For a minute.
Sorry?
How much time do you have on this phone call?
As much as you want.
No, I'm saying, how much time do you have on the recording?
Sorry?
I got you. I'm with you. I will be with you. But what I'm saying for timing and the focus and the how much time do you have on the recording so far?
Because I want I've got 1 hour 31 minutes.
Okay. To keep it at a decent at a decent time to where we're not force feeding these people.
Yep.
I want you to go ahead and go ahead and wrap it to make it 2 hours, and we'll continue this if we need to, because what you're talking about is a very deep thing, and I want these people to definitely check out the 11-hour movie.
Well, what you should do, if you're going to do a video out of this, I just sent a whole bunch of images like as we were talking. If you want it, that might be just so any viewer could any listener might be able to understand a bit better what we're talking about. If it's just an option, you could put those images in the time code of what was spoken.
But see, what you just said lets everybody know that there's someone beyond the forces that they may even know exist.
There's someone. Yes, this is what I am. I am someone beyond this war that's going on that mankind's stuck in.
But there's also,
I come from beyond all that.
Forces that know. They know the reality of where we're going, and they're out to destroy that path that we're on. Okay? So in knowing that, they obviously know the end game. Do you want to talk about that?
I said there are two sides here who can see into the future, and they know each other's moves ahead of times, and they're stuck at a stalemate. But they don't see everything. They don't see a crystal clear view of the future. They only see a distorted view of the future, and there's only so far they can see. There are things that they can't see. Otherwise, this war would never exist in the first place. If they knew the total conclusion of it, they wouldn't be. If they knew that they were in a war that they would lose, there's no hope of winning. They wouldn't have even attempted in the first place. So try to understand. Right. Two or more forces in a war where they can see enough that in the short term. They can see each other's moves in the short term, but longer term things get a bit more vague and distorted, and none of them know how it ends. So they're stuck in a perpetual stalemate, and an intervening third force from the outside is the only one that can resolve it. And so both sides have formed an agreement to produce a situation where an intervening force would eventually resolve it from the outside.
How are you breaking up? That is almost impossible.
Not just from the outside, but also from the inside. Because look at me. I'm fully human. I have the pure original progenitor human genome. I'm fully human plus this other stuff.
Well, see, this stems to the consciousness that Anonymous is as a whole. And you know, and I see your direction here. I completely got it, bro. I do.
Unfortunately, anyone who listens to this conversation, if they don't watch my 11-hour story movie before that, they'll have no idea what we're talking about, and they'll think that we're both batshit crazy.
Well, that's fine. I mean, a lot of my followers and a lot of my listeners know that we. It's not that we're crazy. It's just they know that we think outside of the box. And I love to say no
one will have any idea what we're even talking about much here unless they listen to the 11-hour story.
And we'll get
they
them
won't
there,
understand
bro.
the frame of picture.
We're definitely going to get them there.
So anyway, if anyone does listen to this and they decide to endure an hour and a half of what they've got through so far, just find the 11-hour movie and listen to it, and you'll understand the whole frame of picture here, what we're talking about.
We will definitely point them in that direction, okay? I promise you I'll do everything I can do to get them to that. I want them to understand it at that level, who you are, why you are here, and it helps to define why you're here. It helps to define your mission.
Yeah, okay.
Even why they are.
This is important. So I don't want to interrupt you, but this is important. The who, the why, and the what. So the who I am, what I am, as I said before, will only be truly understood near the end of mankind's journey, if it makes it there. The why I am here. Now that can be answered, and if you listen to my story, you'll see why I'm here. I'm here to guide mankind, not to choose its path, but to try and do what I can as an outside intervening force to try and help it survive the short-term problem that's going on right now, to resolve problems that have gone on for quite a number of thousands of years, and it doesn't stop there. As you know, my role in this started 13,000 years ago. My intervention started 13,000 years ago. I'm here to guide, not to control or dictate mankind, but to guide it and protect it, as a gardener tries to help its crop grow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watering the flowers. I'm watering the flowers.
If you don't mind, please, Jeremy, to where after they hear this conversation and go on to the next, and after they listen to the 11-hour movie or get as far as they possibly can, this next time I talk to you, can we please touch a little bit on the Mandela effect?
Yeah, sure.
And the understanding as you know it as to what it is, why it is, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes, because the Mandela I want to say one thing on that. I'll say one thing on that in advance. Is I don't have the answers to every question. I do, but for things I do have answers to certain things, and so there are things I do have answers to, things I don't have answers to, and there are also things that I can produce possibilities or probabilities of being the case. So I can give some insight on what could be the case.
Okay.
So I can say things. I can say things that yes, this is true, and I can say things yes, this is false, and there are things that I can say I'm not sure, but this is what could be the case.
Well, I'm interested mainly because I'm not, God love you, okay? I love you. Listen, you stated that you've been here multiple times, seen civilizations rise and fall.
Yep.
So with that being said, okay, you have an understanding of what is and what is not real.
Yes. Very important.
Do you follow what I'm saying, Jeremy?
Yes. And now, if someone actually gets to the watches my 11-hour movie, by near the end, I actually bring that very point up, and it may be very disturbing what you hear about what is real and what is not real.
Jeremy,
do you know what I'm talking about?
I absolutely do. You're talking about.
So I don't want to spoil it for anyone who actually
okay.
watched. So for anyone who, I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't watched the movie yet. There are certain things when you watch a long movie, you don't want to spoil a big unraveling at the end. So it's important that you go through things first and then have this realization at the end, because then you'll be able to understand it better than you would otherwise.
Jeremy, then let's visually give them something to grasp onto. Ready?
Yeah.
I encourage everybody, I'm not kidding, to at least watch ahead of after the next conversation. Please watch the trailer if you've never seen the movie Space Odyssey 2001.
The Space Baby.
Right? And then follow up a trailer of the Space Odyssey 2010. Then you'll have a grasp of what we're trying to explain. Yeah, it's a very, very deep story, very, very compelling story. For the deep mind and the deep thinker, this is obviously right up your alley. So, Jeremy Martin, thank you for talking with me.
Thanks for
being with me and sharing this.
Thanks for giving me a pedestal to speak.
Oh, dude, you got it. You definitely got it. And next time, again, we'll bring the Mandela effect, which again has affected not just myself and
a lot of people,
possibly the listener, but thousands of people globally.
A lot of people say it's affecting millions of people. Look, I've known, like even in my teenagers, even years and everything. Before I even heard that it was even called the Mandela effect, I was experiencing this kind of thing over and over, and I would speak to other people. So some people would laugh at you, other people, and quite a large number of people would say that's the same thing that happened to me. Mm-hmm. So there are people who don't experience this, and there are people who do, and there are quite a number of people who do.
Well, you know what? Along the ways of the Mandela effect, in the next episode that you and I publish as the Matrix Minds show, honest to God, let's touch on two things. Number one, the time manipulation, okay, and the visualization of both parties seeing past, present, future, the stalemate game, right? As well as like consciousness intervention. Like someone's pulling puppet strings. Yeah. Who is it? Is it me? Is it you? Is it them? Is it someone listening? Who is it the one?
There's more going on.
Somebody's got to be doing it.
Yes. I'd like to finish up with a couple of points, just a couple of important points. So, I don't claim to have the answer. I don't claim to have the answer to every question. Now, I have forgotten things in my entry to this world. I've forgotten things that I have remembered since, and there's a lot more that I have to remember. And I don't have the answers to everything, but I might remember the answers to many other things. But ultimately, if I was to remember everything about my entire existence, I would still not have the answers to everything. And I have things to learn. And I would say that if there is a God, even God has something to learn, and he's learning. He's trying to construct, which is one of the, not the only, but one of the purposes of all life, is for God itself to learn something from you.
That
everyone has something to learn in this whole thing, even the creator of life, and me, including as me as well. And I come as an outsider, and even I have things to learn. And hopefully I can. There are things that I can learn from mankind, and I hope that I hope to. I have an intention to learn from. But this is in the distant future.
But as you stated, I don't mean to be a spoiler of the movie. Okay, I really don't. But as you stated in the movie, you made the choice to separate from the others to be here. Okay, and your lengthy time here is numbered by life. Physical, because in that body, bro, that body is not built to last forever.
Right. And it's very broken as it is. And look, the other copy, as I said, there's two copies of me here in this universe, and locally, two. And the other copy has been heavily modified cybernetically a long time ago. I haven't been, and maybe something will happen so that I will be modified as well. It's possible. I think at this
for me the plan to work, I think that it's probably going to have to happen for me to be modified, because my body's not going to hold out. I don't know how long it's going to hold out for. Just over the New Year, when this whole political thing that I intervened in, I had to take a break for everything. I went to a hospital emergency department and almost died. Physically, I'm falling apart. I don't know how long I got, but I will do what I will do as much as I can. And there are things that I can do, and there are things that I can't do, and I'll leave the rest to other forces to help me to fulfill my mission and to survive long enough to do what I need to do.
Capiche, bro. No, once again, Jeremy, thank you for being with me, buddy. I'm not kidding, man.
Thank you too.
I'm looking forward to our Mandela Effect talk, as well as like many others. I'm serious. Don't get emotional on me, buddy. You still
I'm always emotional, and as I say, I'm always angry. Even when I'm happy, I'm angry. I'm always angry. Even though I'm many things all at the same time, and I'm always emotional as well. But I'm not ruled by emotions. I'm ruled by reason. So I don't have, as I said, I don't have this battle going on inside me as other people have. I do have the same inbuilt mechanisms of a human brain, where instinct and things can take over in life or death situations. But I'm not as, if I can't breathe, I'm drowning. I struggle and my body panics just like yours does. But this stuff doesn't have as much of the power over me. But it's still, I still have the same things. But I'm just not ruled. My mind and my conscious awareness are not ruled by this stuff. I am ruled over by this plus other stuff. This other code is what I default to. I don't default to as humans normally do. They default to their instincts or their primal emotions. I default to this extra code. If you understand.
Oh, damn. Very deep, bro.
Alright, I think that's what time is it now? We got to 146, so you wanted a little bit of time for doing intro, so you want to finish up?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you too. I'll stop right now.
Again, yep. Alright,
I'm recording. Alright, it's working. Hey guys, just started recording now, as you requested.
Oh, righty then. I don't know. I'm assuming the other one's Mr. JC. He's not.
Looks like that.
Going to be able to really participate, but just wanting to point out. Everybody jump into the main chat, right? And I was going to pick Jeremy Martin's brain here about the Mandela Effect.
I think Jay's been watching that fart replay. I just heard him make a fart sound. Yeah.
The fart. I love him.
Jay, did you look at my? So I don't mean to. I did in the separate little chat we got. I did like talking code soundboard. I said, here it is as the game link, my game that you're looking for. If you click soundboard, go to the. In fact, I'll do it right now. Click soundboard. Go to effects on the bottom left, and there's fart sounds. Have fun.
No, I haven't. Oh my God! Listen to him. He's. You can't laugh. You can't laugh. Don't wake up your parents, bro. Okay. Oh my God. Listen, Jeremy, I wanted you to so we could get something recorded on an episode regarding right. The Matrix Minds, right? I wanted to pick your brain on the Mandela Effect and timelines that exist that you know of. Therein also timeline manipulation.
Yeah, there's a complicated bunch of different mechanisms here that are very separate from each other, but they interact, and they have deeper connections to each other. But it's like, imagine an octopus, right?
all the tentacles do come from an original source, but they go so far and go into very different directions. But eventually they meet up, and they interact and do things. And imagine if it's like the same octopus with many different tentacles, and these tentacles go across different timelines and universes and shit, and then they meet again at different points here and there, in different periods of different places, different times, and different universes. And so now try and imagine if this happens in one universe, it also happens in many other universes, like a ripple. So if you got universes, just say universes are like grains of sand. Let's just say grains of sand on a surface of water, and you drop a rock on that water, and it's going to send ripple out across, and it's going to get weaker and weaker as it goes. Imagine like if you do something in one universe, it's like a ripple. Especially if it's a big event, if it's something significant, it will ripple out and it will actually affect other universes. So a universe next door, the same thing that happens in your universe will happen in a universe next door. But a universe that's further away is going to be impacted, but less so. And universes far away are not going to be impacted at all. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So my question is, okay, you talking about the intervention of and the other universes being impacted by what we do here. Do you remember whenever we tested and dropped the Hiroshima bomb? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. When we did that, right? They said in different understandings that extraterrestrial intelligence, and that is when they started from other worlds, from other galaxies, from other universes, started coming here and evaluating what we did with this technology.
I wouldn't say other universes. I would say extraterrestrial groups from within this universe. It got their attention. I wouldn't say that it grabbed the attention of other universes. So imagine if look, nuclear bombs have gone off many times since then on this world. So nuclear weaponry and nuclear bombs, this stuff happens naturally in suns and on a small and large scale. This kind of nuclear reactions are not, they're actually a fundamental part of how the universe works. So it's not unusual. It's not some freak violation of the laws of nature. This is a part of nature, but it's just you're just focusing it in a specific sterile environment. You're like, it's like lighting a match in a freezer. That's all it is. Lighting a match in a freezer. It's not some big violation of entering different dimensions and stuff, weird stuff like that. It's nothing like that. It's nothing unusual about it. It's just in the lighting a match in a freezer. So nuclear weapons, Jeremy, aliens obviously know about nuclear weapons and the dangers of them. So they came aware that, oh, holy shit, these guys have got access to nuclear weapons now. We've got a reason to be concerned. We need to monitor what's going on here. That's what happened. It's got nothing. No. There's no other universes involved there. My story, the involvement of my story as it relates to mankind, was an intervention that started 13,000 years ago. It had nothing to do with nuclear weapons.
Okay, now we're going to get there. I promise you, as a good host, we will get there. Okay?
I don't mean to interrupt, but my mic seems to be permanently stuck on. Just let me know if there's any audio problems happening, and I'll try and fiddle with something, okay?
The only audio problems we have is a fart. So if you want to cover it up, go ahead and try to cover it up like a cat turd.
I'll just use my soundboard. Tell me if you can hear my soundboard. Tell me if you can hear this.
Oh my God!
Does that come out on my
mic? It comes through the audio going into your board. You got it wired into your PC, so it's going to.
So you're actually hearing those. You're hearing those sound effects, were you?
Yeah, sounds like you were shitting yourself.
Okay, so I must have set it up to do that. I was trying to set up to do this before. I don't know how I've done it, but it works, so I don't complain.
Okay, so let's get back to getting back on track, bro.
Yep.
The interference that we're talking about, okay, and knowing that what we do here is detriment to everything in our universe.
Nuclear bombs.
So with that being said, when this quarantine took place, What do you know the timeline that took place? What timeline?
Okay, yeah, there are things that I know directly, and there are things that are, I know different parts of it. So this, like A and B equal, A equals true, B is true, therefore C must be true, like that kind of thing. There are things I know directly and things I know indirectly, and there are things that I think are likely the case that I'm not sure of. So there's a whole lot of things connected to what we just said, but so
I'm asking you that because it ties into the Mandela effect, okay?
No, nuclear weapons and explosions and stuff are not some freak of nature that's changing universes and weird shit like that. Nuclear fission and stuff. It's nothing unusual about that.
But where we're going in the near future in this conversation is, did that said explosion happen in another reality somewhere on another timeline? And I'm asking
so like if when different universes.
Hang on. So Jeremy, hang on. We're doing that so I can build up to where your story plays into the entire event.
Yes.
Okay, so take your time. We've got an hour. We've got an hour and a half.
Okay.
Okay. So just.
I think someone's sucking on a lollipop. Okay. I can hear. So, now there's this idea that people have that every single reaction of divergence, every single divergent possibility is played out in a universe, and that universe appears and it stays forever. So there's universes appearing and staying forever. I say no, it's not that at all. Not every possibility forms a coherent enough state that it's stable. So there can be chaotic creations of universes that don't quite make it into manifestation, and some that those that do manifest, they don't last forever. They last for a time. They're just like the way atoms work. A structure can appear and last for like a millisecond. And a very predictable millisecond, and then other ones can last billions of years. So different atomic formations, that's what happens with different atomic formations. So it's the same thing with the universe, the same mechanism. Certain things that are more stable will last and some things don't. So not every divergent possibility is stable enough to form a coherent universe. So only some of them, these possibilities are. However, there are so many divergent possibilities across the universe that there are many more universes than there are galaxies in this universe, obviously. So there are so many possibilities that play themselves out in so many universes. So there are divergent points, and only some of them, the most important ones that are stable enough, will create a universe for a certain amount of time before they fizzle out and collapse again. So a universe will be created only when things are stable enough, and so only some possibilities manifest. You could say that every possibility attempts to manifest from out of chaos into manifestation, but most of them fail. In the same way, most life in our planet ended in there, but they died out. Most life has died out. Only some of it, a small percentage of it, managed to continue to this day. So not all possibilities in evolution play themselves out. Most of them fail. In the same way, universes do the same principles. So universes appear and disappear all over the place, and only those with a coherent enough divergence will manifest. So only some very small amount of the total possibilities, the most important ones, actually form a stable universe. So when you have different important points that happen in the world, very important points of divergence, things that dramatically change the future, like the butterfly effect kind of things, they are the major points of divergence that will split into more than one universe, right? With a coherent, stable enough formation manifestation. So there are intervening forces. I'm obviously one of them. Who our interventions create and destroy universes, whether through our direct action or inaction or whatever. What I'm saying is I'm not the only intervening force. There are many, and I'm just one of them. And there are more. There's at least 2 copies of me locally, like either on this planet or in the local vicinity, right? So I actually came from another universe that collapsed, and I was sent here to stop things from happening before
Yes, I see the cat there. To stop things, to go back short time before something went wrong, to attempt it again in this universe. That universe collapsed, and I came here. So I'm actually here to. I'm here to change things where the other copy of me failed. I wouldn't say that the copy of me failed. The governing authority failed, but that's a different story. So I'm here, Jeremy, as an extra copy of myself in this universe to make it work this time.
What do you know of your existence within that other dimension or that other universe?
It's definitely not a dimension. It's just another universe, another divergent universe with the same principles and everything as this one. There are universes that are very similar to each other, and there are those that are very distant. It's like branches out. The grand universe branches out like a tree. So with the tree, you get different branches, and then they go different lengths of time, and then they eventually end, just like a tree, right? So that's how things happen. So they're all branching out in different directions, just like evolution branches out in different directions. So if all the evolutions on this world happen, only mankind has made it, presently at least, and the rest of the animal kingdom, some of them have gone further than others, but they never made it. But one branch made it, right? This is the whole purpose of evolution, to reach it, to explore all these different divergences, to reach a destination.
Hang on. Sarah.
To reach a destination and eventually come to a certain conclusion, a certain end result.
Miss Sarah, can you mute your mic?
Can you hear me?
I thought it was muted. My bad.
So, all these different possibilities play themselves out. Every possibility attempts to play themselves out, but most of them fail. For example, when a man and a woman reproduce, millions of sperm cells don't make it. Only one is stable enough to make it, right? Of the millions of possibilities. And even of those babies that grow, a lot of them don't even make it out of the womb. So you got many stages along the way of divergence and manifestation as a huge failure rate. And this is how chaos works. Chaos and the construction of order from chaos works. So not every possibility ends up manifesting. Understand that every possibility is in a flux of chaos, and only some of them become coherent enough to form something.
Now, see, we also have got science. Now, science.
There's one more. Sorry, there's one more point I need to make on this. There's one more point on this.
So, what's happening with me and the other copy of me in this universe? Surely there are universes close by that a similar or identical thing is happening, because something that affects one universe echoes like a mirror, like looking into a mirror back at a mirror. You know, you see copies of it going into the darkness. It's like that. Something that happens in any universe affects other universes like a ripple spread out. So, what I'm doing here is indirectly affecting many other universes in the local vicinity, because there are other copies of me doing something similar or identical. So understand, we got that kind of thing going on, and you've also got copies of me who have actually, who at least my example shows that these copies of me are actually going from one universe to the other. So we're not just doing this from within each universe, we're actually going across universes to try to understand the scale of interaction going on there. And we all have the same plan. We're all cultivating life, Jeremy, and we understand the tree of all these universes are part of a tree, a creation process. We're trying to create and cultivate life for a purpose.
I forgot that I had my mic on.
It's all right. We didn't hear you, Jay.
Jay, we can definitely hear you. Who's to say, Jeremy, that we are all not with you on that other side? Okay.
Yeah, well, I come as an outsider and an insider. So I have, as we said before, I have the whole human genome construct and everything. I'm a man, fully 100% man, plus this extra code as well. I'm both an insider and I'm an outsider who came to be as an insider.
Oh yeah. So, oh my God. Okay, so diving deep into the universal parity that there's multiple dimensions. Okay,
no,
what do you know about that?
People go on about dimensions and stuff. Look, there may or may not be different dimensions. I'm not saying anything either for or against that. What I'm saying is different universes, different divergent copies of universes. This isn't operating in some different higher or different dimension. This is the same. It's like a copy, like you got a file on your computer and you copy it. It's like this. You play a game, right? You save your game, and then you do what's called a scout save. You save your game. You're on a path left or right. You don't know which way to go. So you save your game, then you go left. You explore left, and you think, okay, we'll save our game. We'll do a game save for left, then we'll go back. We'll reload that original save, and we'll go right, and we'll go right, and we'll save that game. So we've got a save that goes to left, we've got a save that goes to right, and we've got the original save of divergence. Well, once we've gone left and right, and now the only two choices, we don't need that original save. The original divergent save, we discard that, and we're left with two other universes. Do you understand how this works?
But, Taryn, I do get it. But the actual human thought, exists on a completely different dimension than you and me physically exist.
That just sounds like New Age stuff to me. It just sounds like New Age stuff to me.
No, it's not New Age. Bullshit. You're going to have to realize it's called fucking science.
Show me the science.
That's science. Okay?
Show me the science to consciousness.
It's not the same.
I'm going to spank your ass.
Listen, Jay, mute, bro. Please. Physical reality is a three-dimensional existence, and knowing that we are in a three-dimensional, four-dimensional.
See, this is what I'm saying. This is New Age stuff. You have reality, and then you have this imaginary reality on the side, and then you're saying, okay, this imaginary, the reality of imagination that can change, that has power and authority over the real world. This is what Luciferianism is. It is taking the real world and then having imagination and overruling reality with imagination.
But that's not true. Whenever you say the word, say your name in your head.
Okay, what's wrong?
Oh my God, Jay, please mute for a minute, bro.
There, he's muted again.
Taryn, what I'm saying is your consciousness, your thought, is not defined by a physical existence. Therefore, it resides in a completely different dimension than your physical.
Okay, then what about when you go to sleep? You're not conscious. So your consciousness is defined by physical existence, because the fact that
that's
you're unconscious is your physical brain. This is physical things defining your consciousness.
No, this is the thing that they have. Dude, I watched a 6-hour debate, on science saying where does the human consciousness reside. Okay? Human consciousness cannot be defined, cannot be defined by a physical thing.
It has yet to be understood. There is a level of understanding scientifically about consciousness and stuff, but there is only some really vague theories about it. It isn't understood by scientists of mankind yet. Okay, it doesn't mean that it won't be understood in the future. From the mankind's perspective on this world at this present time, it is an unknown. It is largely an unknown. There are some parts of it are understood, but it is largely unknown. And don't make the mistake of filling in the gaps with huge assumptions, huge leaps in assumption.
What's funny, she's like, you guys are always debating, and now you're debating about one on our own team. That's not true. I mean, I called Taryn, Jeremy here so we can debate and pick his mind.
There's nothing wrong with disagreeing on things. It's a good thing. It's a good thing to disagree. I don't see that as a bad thing.
But I'm not really disagreeing with you.
No, I'm still saying to you. I'm saying to
enlightening. Oh, right. But see, Jeremy, I'm trying to enlighten you on what I know on my truth end. Okay, bro, I've been through, honest to God, I understand. I've been through a 6-hour debate where scientists themselves are like, we do not know.
That's what I said. They don't know. That's what I'm saying.
But again, but we can't just throw it into the New Age cult wind.
No,
it's not.
Maybe I need to explain that.
Because
maybe I need to make my position a bit more clearer and expand on what I said.
Yeah.
Okay. From a scientific perspective, it is largely an unknown. Okay.
So you said that this is all scientifically proven. Now you're saying it's a scientific unknown. So you agree it's a scientific unknown. They don't know yet. It doesn't mean they won't always know. It's just that this has barely even been studied, and there's reasons why it's been avoided. So scientifically, as it relates to mankind, it is a largely unstudied subject, and they don't know much about. Would you agree with me on that?
They will not. Very good. You're right.
It's largely an unknown scientifically. So it's not true that science has proven one idea or another. It hasn't proven anything.
Ouch.
There's a lot of mysteries regarding it. So don't jump from one. Don't put it into a box yet. It's okay. Just put it in the unknown box and leave it in the unknown box until further notice.
Don't
but it is a
jump
known
into a box.
unknown box.
So what I'm saying is my position on this. My position on this is one of neutrality.
Fucking up. Those tits are huge.
Sorry?
Oh my God. There's no way I can publish this.
Why?
Do you realize that?
Why not?
I won't. I mean, because I won't.
So
there's no way.
I don't know what Jay just said, but he just muted himself again after saying something. So what I'm saying is I take a position of neutrality. That doesn't mean that I will always remain neutral. I have reasons. I have some known reasons and some unknown reasons why I'm neutral on a lot of things as it relates to things like spirituality and stuff like that. But as for one of my reasons why I'm neutral to these things is because I actually believe in the position of the governing authority that I experienced a lot of these things with. There are important reasons why for balancing ideologies and preventing things from going too far that I take a neutral position. That doesn't mean I will always be neutral, and it doesn't even mean my neutrality doesn't necessarily reflect my beliefs. But I take a neutral position as a balancing act, so that people don't take things too far in any kind of ideological position and take ideologies too far. Jay, if you're not going to say something, can you mute yourself? You're making weird sounds. So I'm not finished. I've got one more thing to say regarding the New Age thing. So the things that you are saying, whether you're aware of it or not, you are saying things that are word for word the ideology of the New Age cult. Now, I'm not saying that everything in the New Age cult is wrong, but what I'm saying is that you're playing with very dangerous territory here. Things that I'm quite well aware of, and you're actually saying word for word parts of this ideology.
Because it's science, so you're saying science
is based on ideology? It's not science. We just agreed that it wasn't.
They don't. They are studying where consciousness resides in the human body. That is a known. Okay,
there's not much studying on it, but there is some studying on it, and it's a big mystery. They've still got a lot to work out.
But Jeremy, they will not even touch the afterlife. They will. It's like they put it on the back burner. Don't even want to discuss it.
Dude, they don't even know how gravity works yet. They don't really know much about anything.
Exactly. That's true too.
I'll explain something about science. Okay,
okay, that's fine. Like I said, we're talking about the dogma that goes with today's religions and the theology and the New Age cult. That you're calling everything I'm bringing to the table. You're saying is a New Age cult.
No, I'm not saying everything. What I'm saying is that you're repeating things that are from the New Age cult, things that will sound sweet and benign, that are bitter afterwards. Lethal, sweet-tasting poison from the New Age cult. Like all this consciousness and dimensions and things like this. This is New Age cult stuff. Mm-hmm. These ideas do not come from ancient knowledge. These comes from occultism. This is not ancient mystery knowledge. This is cult stuff. This is the cult of Luciferianism, the ancient cult of Luciferianism. This is where this stuff comes from.
Well, I can tell you now that whenever my mom passed away, right? Mm-hmm. 2 days before that woman died, I said, before you leave me, for the last time, come and see me. I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning to her coming to me in a non-physical being and in a non-physical way that is what you call, the New Age cult? That, my friend, cannot be explained by any three-dimensional anything. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, that's what you're saying. And I have an answer for you.
Okay.
I have an answer for you.
Okay, what's the answer?
I've never denied that there isn't more to life, consciousness, and the universe than
than we see. And I never said that there's anything beyond death or not. I take a neutral position on that. I don't say that there is that when we die, we die. I don't say that when we die, we go somewhere else. I take a neutral, anonymous position on that for reasons. Some of those reasons can be known, and some of those reasons will remain a mystery until the distant future. But I do this for very important reasons. Most of those reasons aren't known, but they will be known in time. So I choose to not take a side on that on whether that we go anywhere when we die. What I do argue is that we were meant to live mortal lives, and that we were never meant to know for sure what happens. There's a reason why. Because if we knew that there were no consequences of what we do, we wouldn't really believe in anything. We wouldn't really be testing ourselves. We wouldn't really stand for anything real, because there's no real consequences of it. A person who's willing to sacrifice their entire existence for a cause or another life is doing something for real reasons. Someone who is going to die and just get born again anyway, they're not really sacrificing anything. True values can only be realized.
My friend, I completely get.
True values cannot be realized unless it's through mortality. Mortality has a reason.
But we cannot deny, okay? We cannot deny that consciousness, studied by science today, now knows that the physical brain does not know the damn difference between a dream and reality. Because when you're stuck in a dream, it becomes your reality. That is a non-physical,
that's kind of true. So when you're, it's not exactly. It's kind of true. So when you're dreaming,
heart attacks.
When you're dreaming, only part of your brain is active. You're only aware of a certain very small frame of reference. So even a conscious brain is still, relatively to the scale of the universe, is only in a small scale of reference. So there may very well be more than you're conscious of. I don't think anyone argues against that, because some people might, in utter stupidity, think that their human personal consciousness is the level of godness. And this is what I argue against atheists who say that they're agnostic. People who say that they're agnostic, which is generally those who are atheists, who say that they're agnostic, they don't even know what they're actually saying. So an agnostic is a person who basically says the truth can never be known. You can never really know anything, right?
Well,
how do you know that you can never really know anything? How do you know whether nothing can be known? Because by saying that, you're saying that you know that nothing can be known. Therefore, you know. You get it? Agnosticism is a paradox. It doesn't exist. It's not. No one can be agnostic. Agnosticism doesn't exist.
The oldest books, known in our history as we have it today, Taryn, tell you of a creator. Okay.
Yes, they do.
And I think I shared
almost
this
universally.
Text. Yes. And it goes in a hierarchy. I told you this in a text messages. It goes, back in the old day, Egyptian day, it goes Pharaoh, it goes king, God king, goddess, it goes Lord, Lord God, and then God Almighty. And the hierarchy of these said entities and these said beings, they realize that there is an ultimate source of all that is consciousness somewhere driving this force.
I agree with the last part of what you just said. But the rest of it,
you gotta admit, okay?
As for these hierarchies and stuff, these are man-made stories that are passed down, and I think everyone knows that they have at least been heavily corrupted and changed. Well, whatever the origin is, we'll probably never know how these stories started when their purest form. But understand that all you're doing is listening to stories that have been passed down and heavily changed over time. It's just like looking into a mirror, an extremely distorted and very faint mirror, and trying to construct like a puzzle out of two pieces. It's okay to say about certain things that I don't know. It's okay to say I don't know, and to say I think this might be the case. I think there's a small chance of this. There's a big chance of that. But when something belongs in the unknown box, Don't throw it in a certainty box. It's okay to say I don't know, and there's actually values. There is actually values in not knowing certain things.
For go back to what I just shared with you, though, Taryn. Go back to what I just told you about my experience and there's a lot of the listeners,
about people who are dead visiting. Look, let's just say that I've experienced similar things myself. I don't deny that there is almost certainly something beyond a mortal life. So as people say, dimensions and all that kind of stuff, I don't argue for dimensions and stuff. But what I'll say is it is an unknown what happens when we die. But clearly there is a lot more to what's going on than what is presently known. Even to me, there is a lot more behind the scenes. Don't assume what that more is. Don't assume to know and make a puzzle out of two pieces. Everyone acknowledges that there's more to it than meets the eye. But don't assume to construct a picture out of empty pieces. That's what I'm saying. And that's what the New Age ideology is.
I totally agree with that one. Okay, I do agree with that. But
did you understand?
But again, you cannot deny.
Robots in skies.
There's a lot of stuff I can videos and stuff I can show you over this if you want to look. It's like
the non-physical that you've experienced. Okay.
What I'm saying is you see it as non-physical,
whereas I see it as in a different frame of reference. Is I actually see it as physical. It's just not everything that's physical is seen. For example, you can't see the wind, but the wind is physical.
That is an element. That is a difference. Well, but
it doesn't mean it's not physical. So this is where the spirituality bullshit comes in. This is a New Age spirituality bullshit. The word spirituality has no definition anymore. It's a buzzword that means whatever anyone wants it. And it usually means, when it comes to this New Age ideology, spirituality means pretty much imagination, anything you want, conjuring reality out of imagination. For example, someone who just believes that they're Jesus, therefore they can wield the power of Jesus and transcend Jesus. This is what the New Age cult believes in.
Okay, stop. I would like for you to tell me and define something in your physical reality that was never constructed by a mere thought at one time. If you can answer that, then I'll give you $1,000.
As I said, my position on that stuff is neutrality. So,
for example,
my body by thought.
My body is made up of atoms that were created in a sun. Now, so was that sun created by thought?
We can talk about that, bro. That's the
debate.
That
sun created?
That's a good debate.
So our sun today had a previous generation of sun, right? Everything in our world today was built of the stardust of our previous sun, a previous generation of star. So that star, you want to show evidence that star was created by thought?
It had to have been.
How do you know that?
It had to have been created by the all is thought. No, but I'm telling you, I'm going to give you another, because we are not allowed to know the known. We're not allowed to know the unknown.
You're starting to actually argue. You don't realize it, but you're starting to actually argue my own argument.
But you see what I'm saying? I'm saying, here's you another $1,000 challenge. You cannot ever define something in this physical reality that was never constructed without the thought. It had to be. So, with that being said, Taryn, I love you with all my heart, bro, and I'll debate this until the end. The non-physical in which we believe is non-physical is physical on another level. We just can't perceive it.
Okay,
we are locked into this physical.
I've got a response to that. So, you're saying that
how did I know that
you can't prove that that say our sun, our previous generation of sun, for example, the sun. You're saying that I can't prove that the sun wasn't created by thought. Well, you can't prove that it was either, and I can't prove I can't prove that unicorns don't exist. That trolls and leprechauns don't exist. There's a small chance that they do. It's very unlikely, but there's a small chance that they do. That's the point. You can't prove or disprove certain things. Presently, maybe in the future, in the distant future, that may be the case. But presently, we can't. No one in this world, not even me, can prove or disprove many things.
But
including leprechauns and unicorns.
To my understanding, I get it. I get what you're saying.
So you can't say that our sun was created by thought. You have no evidence that it was. There's no that you can't prove that it was. You can't prove that it wasn't. You can't prove
then that
either way.
Then that completely denies what the entirety of what God is.
No, how so?
The all because it had to have been thought into a creation because it exists.
But you don't know enough to know how things were created.
And neither do you.
I don't see. This is what I'm saying. I don't claim to know. I don't claim not to know. I claim a position of neutrality on
it. That's your false cop-out, bro.
It's not a cop-out. It's for very important reasons, and these reasons, when it comes to things like theology and religion, are actually displayed in my experiences with the governing authority as a balancing act of ideologies, a very important one, that the very governing authority of 1.3 billion years of stopping worlds from being destroyed, this is very important.
And I laid out the reasons why in my story. Of why a position of neutrality on certain things is very important, like this. This is why I'm neutral on these things. It's a major reason why.
Our own governing... I got you. I get it. Our own governing authority, though, okay, keeps this shit that they know...
This world's governing authority, you mean, not the
dumbed down
authority that I'm talking about. Different governing authorities?
They
talk
keep
about
it
different one name.
From us. Yes,
Sorry?
I am. Why are we not allowed to know this? Why is it that these... things in which we are talking about right now, this non-physical, concrete evidence that is presented in front of our physical faces, we are not allowed to know what the fuck it is.
I'll give you an answer to that. Okay, so a bacteria, a little bacteria, it doesn't know about oceans, planets, stars, the sun, grass. A bacteria doesn't know any of this stuff. But it slowly evolves in ignorance and slowly grows to become more and more aware of its surroundings and slowly grows an understanding of the environment around it. If a bacteria was given such knowledge in advance, it would mess up the whole purpose and path of evolution. There's, as I said before, not knowing, there's actually purpose to not knowing things. For example, as I said to you previously, if there is a God, then there is one thing that God doesn't know: where God came from. Does God have a God? If God was created from chaos and doesn't know where the chaos even comes from, doesn't create it, just manipulates it, then where does this chaos come from? And does God have a God? What if God was to create you to play out this whole sequence of events and evolve from chaos just as God did, to learn from your example, to see your conclusions and to see your progress and compare it to its own?
Because Terran, that is the all known governing body of the all is source, is not allowed to know who its own self is. That is within its own makeup.
And what if, after learning certain things, that there can be reasons to go back and deliberately, temporarily forget certain things to explore a path of possibility that can only be realized during that time of only from a certain frame of reference of not knowing, and then discover again after that is complete. There are reasons for not knowing certain things.
I said that is why you're here.
There are reasons for not. So people think that
because now we need.
People think that not knowing things. People think that you must know everything. You must learn everything, and everything must be known, and all ignorance is evil. But I argue that
then
there's a completely different thing going on. Sorry.
How does God know itself?
Perhaps God doesn't know everything about itself if it doesn't know where it came from, and it doesn't know who's generating the chaos.
All right, we can refer to it as it, right?
He, she, it's all the same thing. Basically, we can acknowledge that it's something beyond a simple human form.
Now, we've all heard that we are living in a simulation. We've all heard.
Yeah, I've heard
I'm throwing different scenarios that you brought up. Right? I'm throwing different.
Let's just say a recreation, not a simulation.
the recreation simulation. How's that? Throw it all in one basket.
Well, yeah, see, a simulation is a fake.
So whose fake are we reliving? Mine, yours, or someone else's?
I argue that we might not be the same as the original that we're a copy of. But, for example, there are two copies of me in this universe. Is one the original? Are we the same person? You know, explore these argument paths, see where they go. It's not where they don't go. These arguments don't go where people think they go. A recreation, it's either real or not. For example, the same thing applies to artificial intelligence. So, artificial intelligence is fake intelligence. So if you can create a computer that is a real intelligence, it's not artificial. An artificial is a counterfeit. It's fake. It's like with trigger responses. So I've done videos on this of making AI on the fly, showing how this works. So you can create a trigger responses. You can ask a question and it can give you 10 different answers, right? It's randomized out of 10. So you get 10 random answers to any given question, and it seems like a person, but it's not thinking, it's not reasoning. It's just a simple algorithm of random number generator with pre-scripted responses. There's no processing of it or anything. So a computer program, on the other hand, does processing in a different way, contextual. So intelligence, whether it's artificial or real, is not what people think it is. What they're really talking about is it biological or is it digital or a computer? Well, why are they seen as different things? They're not much different. They're just different environments of an algorithm playing itself out. An algorithm is an algorithm, whether it's biological, written in C++ or whatever. It's either real intelligence or it's fake. The environment of which the algorithm is in, is irrelevant. It's either a real algorithm doing a real thing, or it's pretending to do something it's not.
Taryn, the moment it becomes aware of its own self, and aware that the AI, right, can make its own choices. And
do you want me to create a self-awareness computer program right now? I can do it in 3 lines. Watch this. I'll just write it out and I'll read it out after I write it.
Well, all I'm saying is this all awareness. Okay, this all awareness source. As you do that, right? At some point in time, it must have become aware that we part of its creation, right? I'll say it because that is what I know it to be, is all of everything that I'm experiencing. It must have at one point come aware that those people that's listening, those people that are in my life and etc., will become aware of it. And once we do, well, now let's create a dogma so that we can put them on a rabbit chase and see just how far the rabbit hole goes and what we know as life. Remember that? We talked about this in the last episode. All life is deemed to create, right? And who said that what?
Not necessarily, but that's another topic.
Life. It's like this universe is built to create life, regardless of what it is. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I agree that the whole purpose of the universe is a factory that is intended to create life in a network of relationships.
Okay.
As a system to it. So can I just go over that code for example, people say a computer is AI and a computer is all fake AI. It's self-awareness. Look, a computer program in 3 lines of code. Let's just count line 0 as a default position, which is usually a default anyway, but I'll add it as line 0 anyway. At line 0, set x equals 0. So x is the container, right? Set it to the number 0, just to preset it, okay? Line 1, add x plus 1. So x goes from 0.
So there's an infinite loop.
The container is now a count of 1. Line 2, read
print
x.
Right.
So
again, what you're just talking about, right? That is a simultaneous loop.
Yeah, right?
Right.
Let me finish the code.
Yes.
Line 3.
Go to 1. So we go to 1. Well, x is already 1. We'll go add x plus 1. X is now 2. Read print x. It's going to print out 2. The fact that it's reading and printing out its own... This is all intelligence is. This is not even artificial. This is real intelligence. It's not artificial intelligence, it's real intelligence.
But again,
the fact that it is printing out its own, it is reading its own printout, and that reading is interacting and adding to the algorithm. It is aware of its own algorithm. Self-awareness. That's all it is. No mystery to it. I just wrote self-awareness in 3 lines of code. It's not a big mystery. It's not a big secret. Do you get it? That's not artificial intelligence. That's real intelligence.
The thing though, let's go back to the all is, okay? The all is both the container and the content. Okay, that to me, that is, whenever I pray, I pray to all is, and I mean source. I pray with, whenever I'm talking emotions, you name it. I get involved with who I am as the breath, bro. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of us,
what you're saying, yes.
Have got to hold on to something in this physical world. Okay, that is that non-physical feeling that there is something beyond this physical battlefield that we're on, trying to chase this uncatchable rabbit.
Well, yeah. And here's the trick: the more you trace the rabbit, the further it gets away from you. This is what I say. This important side point. What you're saying is when people, the more you trace it, the further it gets away. It's actually an old ancient meme of this. But the more you chase it, the further it goes away from you. It's like this. If you have a cup and you're trying to catch sand in a cup, and the sand's blowing away in the wind, and you're chasing the wind with this cup trying to catch sand, and any grain of sand you manage to catch by trying to catch more, that grain of sand falls out of the cup. The more you chase it, the further it gets away from you, and it's an exercise in futility. However, if you just put the cup, if you bury a hole in the ground and you put the cup in the hole and just let it sit there, and you go sit in a chair for half an hour and just wait it out, the cup will fill up with sand all by itself. So what I'm saying is that the very attempt that people are doing to try to achieve something is often the very thing that's preventing them from doing what they're achieving. It's like a Chinese finger trap. The more you pull on it, the tighter it gets. The trap is the very thing you're doing.
Do you remember me sharing with you the Thoth Hermes meme?
Yeah,
because what you're saying right now,
and Hermes and stuff. I can't remember the details. It was something about Thoth, Hermes, and someone else too. I can't remember what it was.
Because your exact statement, okay, came out of a sacred text written by supposedly the scribe known as Hermes. Okay?
Yeah.
The Greeks named him Hermes. Okay?
The end of the Greek Hermes god, yeah.
I
know what happens to him in the God of War game too, and it's not nice.
Well, right, of course. But what I'm getting at is he completely tells the story like you tell the story. And that's where I'm baffled. My mind is baffled with exactly what you know about the existence and the non-existence of my people, meaning all of humanity. Because if you've seen civilizations come and you've seen civilizations go, that also means that you've seen the end and the start of the dogma known as religion.
Yes, I do know things. Now, this is you're just actually spearheading the very point that I made before. Is my position of neutrality is for this reason, because of what I've said, what I've seen, and what I've seen not just in this planet, but out there, the rest of the galaxy. And they showed me these things so that I would see for myself. I already had conclusions to begin with. I saw them play out these same problems and their solutions, which were pretty similar to mine. But I saw this on a large scale. And this position of neutrality as a balancing act of ideologies, which includes religion, and there are definitions of what religion, ideology, theism, and all this kind of stuff that overlap depending on people's different definitions. I have my own precise definitions of these things, but I understand that people mean something different, and the words can be vague. But we're basically talking about the same thing when you talk about religion, is a position of neutrality. If you go over my story again when it comes to religion and stuff like that, with extraterrestrials and the governing authorities' neutrality position on this and their solution to it, I believe in that stuff. I believe in that position. I take the position of neutrality, not that it necessarily agrees with my actual beliefs. I take a position of neutrality as a balancing act of ideologies. A long time ago, a lot of things were introduced to mankind before it was even ready. There are things that mankind should not yet know because it will hurt mankind. Knowing things can fuck things up if you know the wrong things. I mean, if you knew how to make a nuclear bomb, if a bad person 5,000 years ago knew how to make a nuclear bomb against people with just spears and shit, you know, you can cause a lot of problems. So things can go wrong. Information at all times should not be available to everyone at all times.
I get it. That by doing that and delivering said message that I'm asking for, that you're skating around, it would change the thought process and the free will of humanity. Is that what you're saying?
That's one of the reasons why. That's one of the reasons why. Yes.
All right, that's kind of where I'm getting at.
There are certain things that must be realized on one's own.
Okay, very good.
There are certain things that cannot be taught, and there are certain things that should not be taught, that one must realize on their own. Otherwise, you lose the whole value of it.
Of what? The learning process?
No, there are values to be realized. Put it this way, even Jesus in the Bible, he kept things from people and they complained about it, and he said that he had a reason why, to keep the mysteries for only a small few
who were worthy to know. There's a reason why. And this concept is not just from Jesus. Throughout history, throughout philosophy, the same things happen. People have this ignorant idea that all knowledge, most knowledge should be free, but there are certain things that are dangerous in the wrong hands at the wrong time. So this is what the New Age cult does. What they do, this is what the New Age ideology is based around. This what they call occultism. They want access. They pretend to have access to secret information to use for these that can be malignantly used, and they fake it. They don't have any of this real information. The information they claim to have is not special information. There is special information that they shouldn't have access to, but they don't have access to that. They fake it. They have fake information, and they're selling and they sell toxic lethal poison as a cure. And they don't have any real secrets. Now, there are some things that have been forgotten that weren't secrets, but they would be loosely considered secrets today. This is stuff that was once openly known, but has just been forgotten in history. And they pretend that this is the secret knowledge, when it's not. So the real secrets, they don't have any of the real secrets, but they pretend to, and they're trying to hold others hostage with fake power that they don't really have. I said a few points there at the same time, and mate, you might need to go over that to understand what I really said.
I caught up. I'll re-listen to it. Now, let me ask you this on top of all of that, okay?
Yeah.
When it comes to someone's belief system, because we are literally tearing the fibers of all religion to a mass level. Christian, Buddhists, all of them, to Islam, all of them. What do you suggest? Okay, I'm asking you this out of my own consciousness. What do you suggest that people believe in? Okay, that feel that they have to have a belief in something.
There is a difference.
What do you suggest?
There is a difference between beliefs and a belief system. Now, ideologies don't necessarily even mean a belief system, but understand that these problems in this world relate to ideologies and belief systems. Not that beliefs are necessarily the problem. False beliefs. A false belief is easily fixed if your heart is on the right place. The problem is with the indoctrination of ideologies and these toxic ideological viruses that mankind caught from extraterrestrials and became infected by and mutated and was compatible with mankind. And this is a very ancient problem tied to this whole 1.3 billion year thing. And the extraterrestrial governing authority knows all well about this. They know how to deal with it. I know how to deal with it. I've been dealing with this a long time myself. Mankind is not aware of this stuff. They don't know how to deal with this problem. They've never faced it before. It's like this. You have a primitive population that's been exposed to an advanced virus that is very powerful over them and is able to puppet them and do some really fucked up shit. So mankind has been infected by an advanced virus, an ideological virus. Not a biological one, not the tinkering DNA, an ideological virus. That's what this problem is. And this is tied to belief systems and ideologies and stuff.
So this balancing act of neutrality is critically important in mankind more than ever, and one needs to understand why I take this balancing act of neutrality, and by giving the example of the governing authority and their frame of reference to taking this balancing act, I hope that people can look at this and think through it and realise why this position of neutrality when it comes to ideologies is so important. And there is a system about this too, a system of how to that I went through, this system of how to deal with these ideological problems. Now, I'm not saying that all ideologies are evil. What I'm saying is that ideologies need a balancing force to stop them from going out of control in the wrong direction.
But there is a
bigger scale of reference here. There's something bigger going on here than just simply a person with a few ideas.
Did you catch what I said, Taryn? I said, who says that it's the wrong direction?
I'm not trying to dictate directions. I'm trying to stop the dictation of directions. I'm trying to cause as many branching out of ideas as possible, so long as those branches don't fuck with each other and kill and destroy each other and become corrupted viruses themselves. There is a set of rules.
I get it.
There's a set of rules at play to balance all this out.
And those are, I get it.
For example, Islam, the doctrine of Islam. You've seen what you do, the daily prayers and stuff and the rituals and stuff. This is designed to indoctrinate and brainwash and prepare you for war and inbreeding and shit to make you a dumb lemming, sacrificial puppet with a promise of a sex orgy in heaven and shit. This isn't just random shit put together. This is an indoctrination process. This is an example of ideologies becoming corrupted by this old ideological virus fucking mankind up. This is the virus manifesting itself within people through these ideologies. And Islam, for example, it does not want to live in peace with anyone. It wants to invade the world. The whole ideology, these books are based on invading and destroying the world. Such an ideology cannot coexist with others, and it must be either destroyed or quarantined. So what do you say about Christianity?
But there again, but here again, I've got to stop you bashing Islam. I've got to, and get you on focus to what I was saying. Because we can do the same thing with Christianity.
No, you cannot. Christianity does not teach these things. Yes, Christianity does not teach to invade other countries. It tells you to turn the other cheek. Would you like me to give you a long comparison of Jesus versus Muhammad? Because Christianity is not in the same box. Christianity is not in the same box of Islam. It is polar opposite.
Hang tight. My turn, my stick. I got the stick. Okay? Back in the day, you had the Roman Empire completely. The moment that the Roman Empire jumped on the Christian belief system, dude, they went through and they mass slaughtered millions of people in the name of what? Religion. So it's not just the Islam.
No, nothing. Not at all. What the Roman Empire did, the Roman Empire did not start out as Christian. It eventually converted to Christianity. And what it did before then was even worse than it did afterwards. And not that what it did was necessarily bad. There's a lot of false stories about the Roman Empire. But anything the Roman Empire did in regards to Christianity had nothing to do with Christianity. For example, you could be a Buddhist, right? And then you decide you could join another ideology on the side. You could join a pedophile cult. And let's just say Buddhism teaches against pedophilia. Let's just say it does. It teaches against pedophilia, and yet you join this other cult on the side that teaches for. So you're actually, this Buddhism that you're claiming to be adherent to, you're actually going against it. So when people say that they do these things and they're Christian, they're actually going against Christianity. Christianity does not teach to rape 6-year-old girls. Islam does. Buddhism doesn't teach it. Hinduism doesn't teach it.
But listen, you're missing my point with it doesn't come down, it comes down to religious and ideology. It is all a very powerful brainwashing technique of said ideology and religion.
Ideologies,
doesn't matter what
ideologies and religion are not necessarily a set of brainwashing things. Islam is. Other religions aren't. For example, Christianity. Show me the rituals taught in the Christian religious texts that teach any kind of indoctrination and brainwashing. When it comes to things like Catholicism, they have traditions and rituals that are very weak, but they are still brainwashing techniques. They are just weak at it. Islam is overkill with that shit. Catholicism and their traditions and rituals and shit, that's got nothing to do with Christianity. It's not taught in their religious books.
Agree to disagree. Listen to me. The Christian, or just focus on the main two, like you just said. Focus on, since you seem to be on this topic. Okay? The Islam religion tells them that they're going to get beheaded and die if they fall out of that belief system, like you've already stated. The Christians, right, on the other hand, as well as the Cardinals and so on, say if you deny him, you're going to burn in hell for all of eternity. Okay, again, they scare you into the indoctrination
I was just typing. Belief. Can you say that again?
I said they box you into the belief, okay, that forms you the way they want to form you. And I don't give a damn what religion it is. It's going to be one or the other.
What you're doing, this is what Islam does. Others don't do this. And you're lumping Islam with other people. These ideologies do not teach these things at all. Islam does. Christianity does not. I have a lot of criticism for Christianity. My prophecies section condemns them with a lot of their ideological bullshit. But you're accusing the victims of the crimes of the perpetrator. You're blaming the wrong person for something that they have nothing to do with.
I'm telling you that the Christian-based faith in the day went through and they killed people if they thought they were witches, if they thought they were reading cards, if they thought
let's talk about witches, the killing of witches. Do you know that this is important. You're talking about people being killed as witches. Samael just said in the chat, your race is worth less than a Muslim. Well, actually, my race are the very people who were killed as witches. These were red-headed people, purebloods like me. Other people weren't killed as witches. It was my people and only my people who were killed. That isn't told much about history. The people who were killed for being witches, wizards, dragons and supernatural creatures. These are my people and only my people who were killed under these accusations. And they were killed by everyone. And this had nothing to do with Christianity. Christianity doesn't teach to do these things at all. Christianity teaches to be tolerant.
I'm giving you a hell of a good debate on love. I'm gonna end this call with you as friends, bro. Believe me.
No, look, understand. I'm not offended at us. I'm not offended at us disagreeing. I want you to disagree with me. I want you to process what I'm saying. I want you to contend what I'm saying, and I want you to look into these things. I'm not offended. I want you to do this.
You know me by now. I guarantee you know me by now. I'll look into it.
Yeah, and I've given you. I don't want to give you too much at one time, but I've already a backlog in private chat of these videos I wanted you to watch, like starting with the triune brain stuff. To start, I'd like you to start with that before this other stuff. Well, in your own time. So I understand. I'm not offended at us this dialogue. I want this. Okay, I'm not against it. I'm choosing this.
Okay, good. I'm going to put you through the fire even more because
I want you to poke me and test me and put me in the fire and see what comes out.
I am. Give me a chance to let me speak.
I am.
God damn!
I am letting you speak,
bro. You are a chainsaw. Okay.
I'm letting you speak.
When you're trying to compare Islam to Christianity, all I'm saying is the two. You've got extreme versions of these things. Okay.
Show me an extreme version of Christianity.
Two complete versions.
Show me a major extreme version of Christianity.
Okay. How about the Salem witch trials? That was not an extreme version.
This has nothing to do with Christianity.
The fuck it didn't.
Show me where it has anything to do with Christianity.
Why don't you research that? I'll post that in there and you research that.
Show me where Christianity teaches this.
I promise you.
Show me where Christianity teaches this. Because Christianity is based on the Bible. Islam is based on the Quran. Most religions, not all, but most religions are based off one or more books. Of information that is passed down in books. Show me where in the Bible Christians are taught to do this. Show me.
But I'm trying to say the extreme version of Christianity that ran rampant. Okay?
This has nothing to do with Christianity. For example, the Crusades.
It had to do with their belief in that.
For example, the Crusades. The Crusades were nothing to do with Christianity. They were self-defense against Islam's invasions. In fact, Christianity got in the way. Christianity taught them to put up with it and tolerate it. That's why they tolerated it for like 1,000 years.
My point. You're really, really missing my point.
Well, how am I missing your point? Reinstate your point, please.
Yeah. My point is that there were thousands and thousands of people killed in the name of their religion and their belief.
No, they were not killed. These witches and stuff, they weren't killed in the name of Christianity, and they had nothing to do with Christianity. Just because, look, for example, I can just say I'm a Christian, right? I can go kill someone in the street and say I kill you in the name of Islam, even though I'm not a Muslim. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean that it has anything to do with Islam, or that even I have anything to do with Islam. Just because people do things, I can eat a sandwich in the name of Santa Claus. Doesn't mean that Santa Claus has anything to do with it. So people do this all the time. They like, for example, a lot of thugs, biker gangs and shit. They'll get National Socialism, Nazi symbols and stuff. Their swastika. They have nothing to do with National Socialism. They use the symbol as an act of intimidation. They don't know anything about it. They're just idiots.
Taryn,
so people do things in the name of other things all the time. What you need to do is you need to read the Bible, and if you want to criticize Christianity, then there's only two legitimate methods you can do it. You can do it by either showing that the Bible teaches Christians to do this, or the other way is to say that there is a major branch of Christianity that has traditions and rituals of this that are compatible with this, what the books write. So you can attack the ideology itself, or you can attack a traditional branch of it. So show me one of those. Show me where in the Bible it teaches Christians to do this.
Digging. Trust me, I will do. Hang on, I will do some digging and share with you, share publicly.
Yeah, whenever you on your own time. There's a backlog of stuff that I want you to look at first. But whenever you're ready, if you want to show me stuff, I'll deal with it.
I will. What I'm saying is, sitting here in my man cave, I've got two things. I've got a Ouija board that I made, and I've also got tarot cards somewhere around my house. Okay, I'm saying in the 1800s, I would have been killed, no matter where the hell I would be, on this land, on my own land, because it was against religion in the name of Christianity.
I disagree.
You cannot deny that.
I disagree.
How?
Because Christianity has nothing to do with it. There's nothing in Christianity that teaches any of this stuff.
Okay, Karen.
I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example of the same. I'll give you an example of.
Church,
I'll give you an example of the same flawed logic. Okay.
Hang on.
For example,
God damn it, please.
For example,
I was taught growing up throughout my entire Pentecostal years that is completely against my religion, completely against my Bible. Now you tell me I was taught the wrong way or the right way? Because I now don't believe in that way.
Let me give you an example to show the hole in this hole of logic here. So let's just say the argument that people often say about white supremacists. So let's just say a person goes and shoots up a bunch of Muslims, and they're called a white supremacist. Well, let's just say they are a supremacist. Brenton Tarrant obviously was not a supremacist, but let's say there was a white supremacist who did this. And a supremacist is someone who wants to take over and rule the world and dominate other people not of their group. So to say that this is a white supremacist means that this is a white person who is promoting white supremacy over non-white people. So this is about white people ruling over non-white people in non-white countries. So therefore a white supremacist must be seeking to conquer all non-white lands, right? If you want to call it a white supremacist. Otherwise, he's just a supremacist. He might be another type of supremacist. Just to say he joins a cult of Boobaloob. Okay, so it's just a Boobaloob cult. If he's doing this in the name of his Boobaloob cult, then he's a Boobaloob supremacist. But for him to be a white supremacist, this must be a racial hierarchy that he's trying to install against other people in their own lands. So in the same thing, when you say it's a Christian, you blame Christianity for this stuff, it's a Christian extremist or whatever, you're tying it to Christianity. So a person may in fact be a Christian, just a bad Christian, a very shit Christian, But what he's doing has nothing to do with Christianity, and his ideology actually teaches against this. So this isn't a Christian extremism, and people saying that who'll do these things and say I'm Christian, well, they can't do it in the name of Christianity unless they can quote their Christian religious books teaching them to do this stuff. So when Muslims do this, they in fact do quote the Quran commandments to do this. ISIS do this. They quote their commandments to do all this mass murder while they behead you. Show me a single Christian who does this. Otherwise, because if they're not quoting the Bible commandments to do this while they do it, then they are not. This is not a Christian extremism. This is not Christian terrorism. This is not Christian oppression. This has nothing to do with Christianity. These are bad people who just identify as another ideology that actually goes against what they're doing. So it's got nothing to do with Christianity. Do you get what I'm saying?
Oh my God. I don't know how in the world the conversation went to where it went. Whew. But damn,
brought the topic up.
All of this stems from the perception within the perception of the eyeball. Do you remember that? We were talking about that?
That was in our previous conversation.
Yeah, well,
this is what rabbit holes do. That's to be expected. When you're in a maze of rabbit holes, you end up in all places.
I think it was because we were talking about, I was sharing with you the understanding of like you said, the more you go deeper, the deeper the hole goes.
Yeah, and the more it branches out too, in all different directions. There's many. One rabbit hole leads to 2 leads to 10 leads to 100.
Oh wow, this is just sick. This is a sick, twisted story, boy. Wow. I mean, if I would love to hear everybody's like commentary or like their comments, their ideas, everybody.
See, look, when you try to dive into one topic,
jump into this.
So, Matt, when you go into one topic, the deeper you go, the more other topics you find that are connected to that topic, don't you?
Oh, without a doubt, bro.
These are like different rabbit hole. So these are different rabbit hole paths that go to off the top, connected to the topic. So the more you explore, the more it branches out into various topics. So at the end, if you want to go to the very end of the rabbit hole, you'll end up encompassing every major topic. That's how it works.
Oh yeah.
So you can't just if you want to really resolve and fully understand one topic, you're going to have to understand every topic in the end. The further you go.
Without a doubt.
So it's to be expected when you go off on one topic, then you're going to go on tangents everywhere, and it's to be expected, and it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing.
I don't even know if I would want to know. To be honest with you, if I had the option to know how all of this will pan out in the end, I don't think I would have that. I would have the guts to go through and experience all of that in which everybody's had to be put through to understand the entire process. Again, Taryn, I don't know where we're going. It's crazy.
So you, as I said right from the start, I said like everyone who listens to what I say, put down all this other stuff I'm talking about, start with the story, and then you get a frame of reference so you don't get lost when you look at other stuff. So when you look at, it shows that when you dive into the truth about any important matter, you're going to go into a lot of rabbit holes, and you're going to get, and if you've never been in these rabbit holes before and you don't know them inside out like I do, you're going to get lost. Guaranteed you're going to get lost. So do it slowly, just follow one rabbit hole at a time, and then go to as far as you can on that, then backtrack all the way to another divergent point and explore another topic connected to it. And it's painful, but it takes time, but it's worth it. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. The more you learn to navigate, the more you learn the tunnels. And you're less lost you get as you go.
What's screwed up is there's people in the system that know exactly what you're saying, and they know where and how the tunnels go. They're in fact, I believe they're making tunnels. I mean, dude, there's so many. Again, I'll go off onto dimensions because I totally believe my own self that there's multiple dimensions. You just can't see them.
I said, I have a neutral position on that when it comes to dimension. Right. But don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not saying that there's not more than what we see to existence. I'm saying there's a lot more. But what people call dimensions, I take it as a position of alternate universes and stuff like that, which people sometimes mean by different dimensions.
Shit. I had to post this.
Hang on a sec, I've got multiple things going on. Is that
I'm watching this chat too from time.
Is that a Ouija board, is it?
I'm like, you're gonna go to hell for that.
You want to say someone's going to hell for something? You look at my video meme that I referred to recently. The GoldenEye thing.
Guys, you need to get some eggs and bacon.
Hi, Jay.
Breakfast.
Here we go. Look, I'm going to show you something about... I was looking this up just now. Okay, so New Age terms, right? So I was saying that these things that you're talking about... He's just sent a link about Wikipedia link, glossary of spirituality terms. This is basically New Age terms, right?
I have a question for you.
Hang on, can I just finish my point? Can I just finish my point? Because this is something we talk ages on. This is just to finish this. Okay. So look at these terms. Look at the name, these words here. I could give you a more refined version, but this is an example. These are the New Age cult terms, and when people keep using these terms, this is how the New Age cult works. People become indoctrinated by it, and they don't know it. That they've been recruited into this cult. That's how it operates.
Well,
the terms that you're referring to.
That's what the cult I'm in. Sorry? Yeah, I'm fine with the cult I'm in, bro. I really am. I said I'm fine with the cult I'm in because I believe that my own experience is very relevant to my path that I'm on right now. Okay, and it took me a long fucking time to get here, to drop the religion of both whatever. You want to be a Muslim? God damn it, be a Muslim. If you want to go kill people, society and culture will kill you in return. If you want to be a Christian that wants to go out and condemn people, go right ahead. I am a person now. I am very happy with who I am and who I've become. I let people be who they are. Do you see what I'm saying, Taryn? That's just who I am now. If you want to call that a cult, then goddamn, I guess it's an occult.
I'm trying to find...
Hello.
Yeah, I'm just looking for quotes. Well, I was listening to what you're saying. I'm just doing quotes at the same time, trying to find
Okay, so JC.
I've got there's a backlog of stuff I've already given you. I wanted to just start with the triune brain stuff regarding emotions and stuff like that. Once you've done that, if you want to do this, if you want to go through all this New Age cult stuff, we can go through and I can get you a whole bunch of links and stuff to go through over this and why it's so important. But I don't want to drown you out in too much.
If you're going to try to turn me to Jesus, I'm going to tell you now, it's fine. I will look, I will listen, I will read, but I'm telling you now, I'm not going to believe a lot of the shit you show me.
But you don't know what I'm going to show you. Don't come into it preset. Just come in from a neutral point of view and just process what you see. If it's true, it's true. It's false, it's false.
But Jeremy, I can't tell you whether it's true or false because I don't have any grounds to stand on.
You just predetermined that it was false.
No, I'm saying based upon my own feeling, based upon my own understanding. To me, it is a belief system in which I don't want to be involved in. I'm not going to slay a Muslim because they're a Muslim. I'm not going to slay whoever because whoever the fuck they want to be, let them be.
You just said yourself. To me. You just said yourself. You're arguing knowledge from feelings instead of facts. This is why I want you to look at the triune brain videos that I sent you before. So you can learn about facts versus feelings. So, Jake, you said something before. I didn't miss what you said. Can you say it?
I said Matthew wins. Fatality.
How so? That's fatality. How so?
Okay,
he's arguing from feelings.
He knows I wanted to debate you on this. I wanted to pick your brain on this, Jeremy, publicly to where a lot of people would hear it and see where you stand on it, okay?
Yeah, I've got as much time as you want, but like we're talking about things like that you said that you don't know about that I said I can provide links and show you what I'm talking about. I just gave you a list of glossary terms of the New Age cult. Like people who use these terms like
fatality.
Like fatality. Jeremy, keep going. I don't know where he went.
Who?
Did Jeremy
No, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm still here. There, I haven't gone anywhere.
I'm very interested in those links as well as whenever we post the commentary, the dialogue, I'll post it with it.
What I think instead of this of talking right now, I think like I can give you links. I've already given you a whole bunch of links that you haven't gone through yet. So what I think we should do, in order to progress, is to start going through some of the links that I did give you, starting with the triune brain stuff. When in your own time, no hurry, go through the triune brain stuff, and there's a bit of a backlog of stuff that I did give you. Just look into it and see what I'm talking about regarding emotions and primal instinct overruling the reason mind, and then you'll understand what I mean about facts versus feelings and the dangers of arguing from emotion and stuff like that. And you'll start to understand things that I'm talking about. That you said you weren't aware of. So start with the triune brain stuff. We can't progress much until you actually go through some of the stuff I've given you. So start with the triune brain stuff, and if we can just reapply the backlog of stuff and go over that again if you need. But start with the triune brain stuff, and we'll get unstuck.
All right. I promise you, I will do that. If you promise, I spent 13 fucking hours listening to your stuff, bro.
Yeah, thank you for that. And you also live stream my stuff, and I really appreciate it. But I did say that there's the ultimate rabbit hole in a lot of directions, and I'm willing to invest as much time as you want, and I can show you links and stuff.
What you just said, I can literally back up with words, black and white words, with what you said. If you're willing to give me some time, also, I can provide.
That's what I said. Yeah.
That's what I keep saying. It's just I've got so much stuff that I can overload you with information, and I'm trying not to give you too much. But like you see, I keep giving people links and shit everywhere, and my own videos of this stuff. So I try and go as slow as I can. I don't want to get a big backlog, but I've already given you a backlog with the triune brain stuff. So
the name of this book I want you to research is called The Kybalion by the Three Initiates.
Can you type it out or give me a link or something?
The Kybalion. I will give you somebody. There's like 5 people in chat. Go pull up a picture. The Kybalion by the Three Initiates.
Yeah, can someone give me a type out word? So
someone throw him a picture. It is a brown book, red seal. It is a hermetically sealed book.
Someone just gave a brown shoe. No, wrong thing, wrong object.
Wrong
book.
Yeah, wrong object. I'll try to find it here. The other one, the other book besides the Kybalion would be, let me think, the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, Thoth. Are you with me?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm just waiting for someone to give me names and links and stuff like that to look at.
I'm working on it, bro. The Kybalion.
Look, as I keep saying, I don't want to push people too fast. Like, take it at your own pace. There's a backlog of stuff that I've given people to look at. So, and I've got a lot. You see, I've got
this is a safe link. It's literally from Google. It's from Google. Straight to the chat. No phishing.
Wikipedia. Wikipedia is a good place for information.
No, sir. Fuck Wikipedia. It goes directly to Google and everything.
I'll be able to go from there.
Sure. But I'm asking you, as in, you sharing with me, I'm sharing with you. Please understand that my knowledge, my learning and understanding comes from mainly these 2 sources. The Kybalion and the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, or Thoth, right?
So do you remember what I said before? Pieces. Do you remember what I said before about seeing a cube from multiple angles?
Yes.
Yeah. So as I said, that I try to see things from as many perspectives as possible, even if those perspectives I know come from end up in a false conclusion.
I still have information that I can gain from that perspective for other reasons. So even if I know, if I know someone's position on something is false, I still have reasons to explore their position. Other reasons. So I see things, I try to see things from as many perspectives as possible. So I don't just get something from one or two sources. I look for as many as possible. Because I have other reasons to gain this information. I database everything I can possibly can at all times.
Jeremy, I honestly believe that your involvement in my life and a lot of other people's lives is the direction of the positive pendulum swing. And I don't know. And let me explain what I'm saying. Because the dogmatic way the world has been going within religions all around the world, I'm talking all of them,
yes,
have been going in a negative pendulum swing, a negative direction.
Let's just say
now what you. God damn it! Let me finish.
Right.
Now the pendulum is coming back to the negative position. It's swinging backwards. It's coming into light. Okay, do you see what I'm saying? It was once way out here and way, way, way far out here. And now Jeremy's coming into the picture of a lot of people's lives and bringing the whole new fucking spin on the world.
Yes. So
it's bringing it down to pendulum to zero. Now we can go forward. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
But your story, I'm telling you, is way the fuck over the top, and a lot of people are going to go, this dude's fucking nuts.
They'll do what they'll do.
But I said that to say I'm seeing people swing and a lot of things happen in a positive direction.
Yeah, something I'd like to say about positive, negative stuff. So, do you remember I gave memes earlier about positive and negative and neutral and constructive and destructive? They're all contextual. So, it's important when you use these words to really understand what you mean. People misuse words and it can actually, it can cause harm later. So, when people say positive, like, positive doesn't mean good, negative doesn't mean bad. Probably the better words to use is benign and malign, or good and evil. So what we're just saying is positive and negative, you're really meaning good and evil. Right?
Well, on the label, okay, I put it this way. The English the speak in which we speak, labels it as positive and labels it as negative.
No, it doesn't. It labels it as good and evil. See, if you're talking about positive and negative and not good and evil, then you're talking about something completely different. Because positive can be evil and negative can be good.
Oh my God!
So when you say malign and benign or good and evil, that's more clarity of something that's good or bad.
That's like saying the word cunt. Okay.
Sorry, I don't.
The word cunt in one form of the world means one thing. And in another place in the world means another completely different definition. What I'm saying is positive. You're bringing things in a positive direction in a pendulum swing.
But okay? I'm not just being positive. I'm also being negative, and I'm also being neutral. We just talked about me being neutral.
But I'm saying the darkness that's involved in the world today. Okay.
Yes, and you're talking
You're
talking in terms of good and evil here, though, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Yes, so it's better to use more precise tones because using the wrong wording can lead to a lot of confusion and misdirection and danger and harm later on when you misuse of words. When you use words, this is what I say with New Age. This is what the New Age does. They use everything positive is good, everything negative is bad. So this is behind. So this is behind arguments like censorship and hate speech. So if you speak negatively against something, anything, therefore you are evil and you're guilty of hate speech. So if you criticize pedophilia, you're hate speech. You're the bad guy. They're the good guy because they're speaking tolerance of pedophilia. They're the good guy. They're the positive one. And you're the evil one for criticizing their raping of children. So do you see where all this positive, negative, universalism leads to? This is behind. This is the ideology behind all this hate speech and censorship going on. It's the same labeling. It's the same political language. This is why it's important to, when you're speaking in terms of good and evil, use the terms good and evil, or use some kind of precise thing.
So you're primarily saying use the terms malevolent or benevolent, right?
That's good enough. That's a good enough term, yeah. So yeah, don't use these New Age positive, negative terms of universalism because it's very harmful.
Well, they always say that they use our own words against us, and our own words are the
political
tongue.
Language.
You're right. The tongue is the sword that has got both sides. The art of saying one thing and meaning another. Oh yeah.
The language has been heavily hijacked in a very destructive way.
Good debate, bro. I want you to at least stop the recording so I can upload it or save it and
and I'll give you the recording.
Very, 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 very good debate. I mean, again, it wasn't really even a debate. I wanted to pick your brain on a bunch of different topics.
Yeah, look, got as much
time.
And
like you said,
But there's a backlog. There's a backlog of stuff. Like you've asked me for, like questions and stuff, and you want resources to show these arguments and evidence and stuff. And I've given you a backlog of different stuff, starting with the triune brain stuff. That's very important. So when you're ready, the best next step to do is to start going through the triune brain stuff. I gave you 2 videos. One goes for half an hour. One goes for about 5 minutes. That's a good start.
I will definitely look at it, dude.
Whenever you're ready, just do it whenever you're ready. There's no hurry.
I will study it because, like I said, the philosophy and the study of one's psychology, dude, that's like right up my alley, bro. I love just talking about it.
One point I'd like to conclude on is people get really scared of getting debating and fighting in debate. Let's not fight and argue. No, I see this as a good thing. Like I'm not offended. Anything that we've talked about today, I'm not offended by it. I appreciate it. I want you to test me in the fire of debate. It's a good thing. It reveals the truth. And like people are scared of the battle. I'm saying no, embrace the battle. The fire is only going to burn away everything that's false and strengthen everything that's true in the end. Just try it and brave the fire and see what happens over time. That's what you said in the first place. You wanted to do this and test me in the fire and see what happens.
I do.
So I'm not offended by it. I'm not offended at us disagreeing. I see it as a constructive thing.
Agreeing to disagree either.
I see it as a constructive thing.
Did you catch that? I said agreeing to disagree. What's funny
I
is
don't agree to disagree.
All right, so what are you just disagreeing with me?
No, I disagree to disagree. So what I'm saying is investigate what I say. I'm saying don't just agree to disagree and say, okay, I'm going to sit in my corner, you're going to sit in your corner, and we're going to disagree. No, what I'm saying is no. Let's both sit in the fire and see what burns away and see what stays in the fire and survives. You got like a sword covered in grass. The grass burns away and the sword remains the same. So let's both brave the fire, and we'll see what burns away and what stays in the fire. So the truth stays in the fire, and falsehoods burn away.
I get you. What's funny, bro, is a lot of people that know me, they're like, in another chat, I don't think you're in it, but main topic, Matt's fighting with Taryn on Discord. I'm going, I'm not fighting with Taryn.
No, I don't see this as a fight either. I see this as constructive. Now, you got upset earlier, and I'm saying, no, I'm not upset. I appreciate this. I'm not upset about it. This is a good thing. This is a constructive thing. This is what I'm trying to bring people to do.
I get pissy whenever you get into this chainsaw mode and you are just like fucking, you just, wah, and you just will not let no one get a word in edgewise.
But I do. I've let people speak all the time.
I get it, but I'm saying you have got this powerful voice that like overtalks people from time to time, and it's like, yes, I'm saying you come in like a chainsaw.
What it is,
you came in like a wrecking ball, but.
What it is when I speak, I usually speak for more than just a couple of seconds, because when I have something to say, I like to be thorough about it and complete what I'm saying. And people get impatient and they want to jump in and not let me finish. So I actually go through longer periods of talking than other people do, but I also go through longer periods of silence. When someone speaks for a long time, I want them to speak as long as they can instead of just speaking a couple of seconds and stopping. So I want them to construct a complete statement with as much content as possible. I prefer people to speak long speeches back and forth rather than a few seconds of all over the place.
Right. I follow you, buddy. Is there anybody that would like to put a comment in? I would love to hear everyone else's opinion, comments, or whatever on this entire. Well, I don't know how long you've been going, 2 hours and a half.
Not counting the other one, we've gone for 1 hour and 11 minutes this time.
Well, I go to stick.
I mean, you see what I'm saying? The debate, the talk, it can't even be a debate. The dialogue. The dialogue was a good dialogue, and I appreciate it. I really do.
So what have we've got the earlier one-on-one we had, and then we've got the group one in here that you didn't want to use, and then we've got the second one in here that you did want to use. I can give you all three if you want and make up what you want. What do you want?
You did. You already gave me the one that we talked.
The first one, yeah.
You and I. It was a one-on-one talk, right? I've got that. But again, all of these people in the chat here on Discord, I would love to hear their opinion because I'm reading their opinion or trying to read it. My eyesight's going bad.
If they don't want to speak, then maybe you can just read out their comments or something.
They're following. I can't really. You got to remember, dude. I told you I don't have my reading glasses.
Well, I can read them. I can read them if you want. Is anyone has something to say? Just like a comment you want me to quote you're saying in chat, then I'll speak to you.
Oh no, just whatever they want to talk about. I'm saying this is a complete invite to have everybody participate.
Yeah.
And I would love to hear their opinions, their comments. Verbally. I don't want them to be shy about jumping in here and saying it, whether it be anybody.
On a side note, I'll probably do, all the chat we have today, the 3 chats, I'll just put them into one big video on my own YouTube. I'll edit out the stupid fart noises and all the stuff that happened. I've already edited them out.
Oh boy. Okay, man. I'm probably going to jump off here and process that video a little bit.
Yeah. Whenever you're ready, just go through that. Start with that triune brain stuff when you're ready.
Oh yeah. That's what that's what I'm going to work on right there. I'm going to scroll through our one-on-one, and I'll definitely go through and look at it. Okay.
Yep. If anyone else wants to know about this triune brain stuff I talked to him about, just let me know in chat or something, and I'll post the links to it. I'll go retrieve them.
All right, Taryn. I myself is gonna hang up, buddy. So
yeah. Well, thanks for the chat, man. And understand, I'm not offended at all. Yes. I'm not offended at all that chat today. I appreciate it.
Fatality.
I don't get upset about this kind of stuff. The only thing that offends me is someone whose moral compass is in the wrong place. So someone who's got the wrong information, or they don't know something that they need to learn or something. None of that stuff offends me. I see it as an opportunity. The only thing that offends me is a moral compass that points in the wrong direction.
Right. I get it. I do. I understand it. I do. I get it. I get exactly what you're saying. But one thing that I will say for the record, you'll never hear me say, okay, is I cannot judge a person's being by the religion in which he or she says that they are, because all of that shit is subject to change within their own consciousness at some point in time in their life. Even though someone says they're a Muslim, like you says, and they're willing to die for their Quran, whether they be a Christian, they're willing to die for whatever. Dude, we are a conscious human being. And knowing that life itself is very, very fragile and sacred, yes, bro, I possibly cannot judge. I cannot judge a single person. I can't.
Well, I have a different perspective on that. We can go through that later.
I know that. I know you do.
I just want to mention, so Shai said, Terran don't sleep. Well, actually, I sleep a lot less than everyone else does, but if it's actually in my movie, I have really weird brainwave shit that goes on in my sleep, and some of it's in my movie. I've got files on that shit, like documents over it. Apparently, according to brainwave studies of my sleep, apparently I don't sleep. My brainwaves show that I'm actually more conscious while I'm physically sleeping, I'm unconscious, I'm physically sleeping, but my brainwaves show more activity than when I'm supposed to be awake. So it was all weird. That happened.
Right.
The machine that they had hooked up to my head couldn't interpret what it was seeing. The algorithm of measuring it didn't work properly. So apparently it came out with, I have to sleep for 25 hours a day to get the same sleep as everyone. It's the same sleep as everyone else. So if I was asleep 24 hours a day, it wouldn't be enough. That's what the machine said.
It's called the astral body. That's that occult shit you don't believe in, bro.
Now, this actually, this might not actually be an anomaly to me. It might actually have something to do with my bloodline or something. I don't know. But they couldn't make heads or tails of it. It's one of the reasons they tried to experiment on me. They sent letters in the mail for years trying to offer me a shitload of money to go to Europe to let them experiment on me. This is one of the big reasons why. I don't have answers to what the explanation to it all, but there was really strange anomalies regarding
oh my God.
Right, so do you want me to stop recording?
I love you, yes, sir. I appreciate you. Thank you, sir.
I appreciate your time too. And understand, I'm not offended.
All right.
I don't consider our discussion as a fight. I see it as a good thing. Bring on more.
Well, progression. I see progression as a good thing. That's what
just go through the backlogs when you're ready.
Yes, sir. I promise you. I'll get into it. I'll talk to you later, Taryn.
All right. Thanks, man.
All right. Yes, sir. Later.